What's going on, family? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Doing good, Lapeef. What's up, brother? I hope everything's good.
Everything is wonderful, man. Just happy to be alive. So I get to experience the rest of my day, whether it's up or down. It's always an enjoyable moment.
Facts. I like that. I love that. Love that.
All right. What's going on, Tayfael, Lex RT1, Edwards Gilbert, Dory G? How you doing? We got Dale Matthews. I might have said that already. Welcome. If you guys come and hit that like button, also make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're catching this on a replay, hit that like button. Also make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. So I do have a clip that we're going to react to, break it up into different parts. We'll give our perspectives on it, give you guys a little bit of insight based off our experiences and how we see it from our lens. And then we'll go ahead and get into it. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, it's good.
All right, here we go. Here's the first part.
The topic of the plastic surgeries, just everything is just becoming so normalized. Like as far as like being naked, being, hot, being cute. Some people just ain't meant to be cute.
That does speak to like we're just being controlled by what's going on out there. That's go deeper into the accountability. Like nobody speaks for me but me. So I definitely have to say what works for me and what doesn't work for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of what don't work for you.
The subject matter number 2.
Yeah.
Bring it, Dawn, because we know you have something
What
on your
doesn't work for
plate.
you?
I do have a little subject matter. So my topic is, he's a 10 or not.
Why is she looking at me, y'all? Like, I'm a 10. So she not talking
We
to me.
know that he thinks he's a 10.
I'm a 10.
But no, it's a lot of average dudes out here expecting this king treatment from us queens. A lot of guys out here, they are a 6 or 7 at best. And they feel like we're supposed, first of all, you're approaching a 10. You're approaching a and then you want them to treat you like you're a 10. So tell me, Melita, what do you think about that? Especially, and I would say this is probably more prominent over 45. When you're dating over 45, these men got gout. They got a bad knee.
She is going hard, y'all.
That gout.
They got a bad knee. Yes. They sleep with a CPAP machine.
They do. I've been there, done that.
I'm just saying, you are a 7 at best, boo. And then you want to tell me, oh, you need to do this. And you got me straight.
Yeah.
Tripping. Yes. Because at the end of the day, think about it. When we're in our 40s, we can date the daddy or the son. They honest. So why pick the daddy when we can date the son?
Yes, yes. I agree. I agree. She is funny. I agree. I feel like dating over 45, 40, 50, whatever the case may be, is like shopping on a clearance rack. Like
not clearance.
Yes.
Not a clearance rack.
Not no rack.
Well, they dragging us. They dragging us through the mud up ahead.
The diamond in the rough, you got to find that one piece that it's hard to find. I really honestly feel like dating over 45 and to what you said, you're a 10 and you have these men that are 7s, 5s, 4s. It's a lot.
Maybe it speaks to the ratios that's going on out there.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there, get some reactions, man. How you feeling about that, humble dad? Dating over 45.
Well, I wasn't over 45 dating, but I guess I was close to it. And really depending upon the guy's financial status as well as accomplishments determines what he's able to get as it relates to a woman. I think it's interesting that she was able to consider herself a 10, but able to judge somebody else on what their number is. And what she fails to understand, or what most women fail to understand, I would say, is that the people that are approaching you are the people that are in your bracket. And so if it were not so, then you would have different individuals approaching you. So the challenge, and I'll leave it here, the challenge in dating later is that it is going to be a challenge because the good women typically do it early. So not all good women, but the majority of them marry early. And the ones that want to date continue to be single in my estimation. And I'll leave it there for now.
Okay. How you feeling about that, DJ? Day number 45?
Oh my gosh. I can't speak over 45. My mom is 54. I can't speak on that. But I just think that I'm in a city where I know a lot of my friends, like there's parties tonight. There's starting to be parties on Wednesdays and Mondays in Atlanta terribly. And it's all women, 40. I sat at a table with 50-year-old women that are beautiful. Okay, fine. But to hear if they spoke like that woman, that's sad because what makes you a 10? Like mentality makes you a 10. Like, let's be real. Like, I can't stand when women think they're fine and then they downplay a man. Like it's so annoying to me because like since when do first of all mentally I can't put a number on a man. I'm not gonna say you're a 4. You're sleeping with a seat. Like all that is just childish mentality to me. I'm 41 years old, but it's just no way that I could even be in a space with that type of that. I couldn't even be on that panel because I would have shut all them down because I honor men and it's so sad, but that's why there are a lot of women in Atlanta, and I can't say only Atlanta because I'm sure they're in Dallas, Houston, and everywhere else. California, I know because I'm from Cali and I'm in Atlanta, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of women between the ages of 40 and 53, 55 are single because they are trying to get this like they want this high value man. They want the man to make money. They want the man to look good. They want the man to be healthy. They want the man to pay all their bills. They want everything. And it's just like, are we serious right now? Like I cannot, but I digress.
Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah. Jeez. That was a sad panel. That was a very sad panel of women that ought to be the example for younger women who are coming of age and out here dating and entering that next chapter of their life. She said dating over 45 is like shopping at the clearance rack. So if dating over 45 is dating shopping at the clearance rack, what does that make you being in that same department? You're also on the clearance rack as well, right? Because why would you deem that the people who are in and around your age group to be in clearance? You must be matching the same type of energy. And then also the commentary about 8, 9, and 10. I'm all for people having confidence in how they look, how they feel, how they present themselves, carry themselves. But I think that's something that's self-evident as opposed to kind of going around and making those kinds of statements. I mean, to DJ's point, what makes you a 10? Like, clearly not mindset because the way they act and behave doesn't really exhibit anything of a 10 caliber, 9 caliber, 8 caliber. It's all childish behavior. And then also, why are they so fixated on the man being beautiful? It sounds to me they want a sassy ass man to match their energy, right? That's what it sounds like. So, but if he has every other attribute, why does it matter if he's a 7? Most people are average out here today. I still don't understand. Like, I think, the illusion of marketing and social media has really diluted the way people really think and process. And I could tell that people don't have passports or get out of their general vicinity because if you travel around the world and outside of your city, you will see that there are a lot of different people who are just average. The average people that present well, that look well, that pair up with other people who match them. They're average people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? This like telenovela, at night, all everybody's beautiful. It's only in the movies. You know what I'm saying? We're all pretty average people, trying to pair with each other. and there isn't a star that's going to fall from the sky and pick you out of a sea of a bunch of other people, in this case, other women, who possess a more intrinsic character and quality about them. So that's all I got.
I don't know. I'm DJ La Bonita. Speak for yourself.
What that mean?
La Bonita. You don't know what La Bonita
Oh,
means?
okay. I got you. Yeah. The beautiful. Yeah.
All you intelligent men, somebody know what that means.
Yeah, I got you.
No, but can I say this too, Lapeef, real quick? I love what he said, but I got a friend. I'm gonna call him my friend, but he's really my ex. He's about a. I hate this because it's only in the culture of African American culture where we use numbers to rate people. I have friends that are not black and they don't say my guy is a 5, my guy is a 4, my guy's a 6, my guy's a this. My family, they don't do that. But what I'm saying is my ex, he was dating a girl recently. She was an ex cheerleader, an ex Falcon cheerleader, and he did everything. He dated her for 7 months. I mean, he took her to concerts. He flew to join a trip for her because she wanted him to go with her friends. I mean, I'm first of all, I told him to stop leading with his money. He's generous and I know he likes to support, but I told him to please stop because I know how generous he is. He doesn't have kids. He's 40 years old. He never been married. He has a high position with Delta Airlines, but he's not the most, to me, he looks good, but to her, I felt bad when we broke up because I'm like, dang, any girl's gonna use the shit out of him. And that's exactly what's happening. He's ending up with all these like single 40-year-old women without children that been using him for I want to say 2-3 years. And it's sad because I know that they're looking at him. And it's funny that she said that because he has a CPAP machine. He said that the girls mention that all the time that he dates. He's not getting sex or intimate on an intimate level with them. He's trying to be patient. But I'm like, no, like at the end of the day, if they don't rock with you, you need to stop pulling your money out. If they don't rock with what you look like and your personality and who you are, stop dating these women. Like, unfortunately, he has a type of these like a certain look, but stop, like because it's bad. It's look, you guys just saw the video. These women think horribly of men. They really, really do. They think they are the prize, and they're not. The only person wins in a marriage is a freaking woman in a dysfunctional marriage. Let me clear that up, because really the man should be the winner. But I digress.
I did have a statement, I guess, last question. That gentleman you spoke about, was he leading with money and getting submission, or was he leading with money and getting played?
What do you mean in getting submission?
Well, I was having a conversation with somebody, and men of a certain status sometimes don't care how the woman feels about them as long as they're getting submission. They understand that it's transactional. And so when they leave with their wallets, they're going to always be up top. And as long as they remain up top, then they're going to get this type of treatment for women. But it sounds like in this case,
No.
that with him being a quote unquote high value man, or he is a man of a certain status, he still wasn't getting a submission and was still getting played and used.
I wouldn't say, and I never said he's a high value man.
Okay.
No, I don't date. I don't typically come across those. I dated him, so I wouldn't. He's a honorable man. I date honorable black men. I won't call a man. That's not my terminology.
Okay.
Right. So he's an honorable black man. He's just a guy that has a job and he actually has good credit and he's just a normal black man, like good man. Like he's just a good black man, but he goes for high value kind of chicks of like that girl said what she is, those type of chicks. And not that old, but he goes for like women like DJ La Bonita, but I'm actually a humble girl, so he lucked up on a good one, right? But because I don't do men dirty, but with in a sense of a girl outside of me in the industry, he goes for industry girls now, and those girls don't look at him for who he is at all. And he's nice, he's generous. He's not trying to get a submission. He doesn't play mind games like that. He's just a man that if a girl, he meets a woman and he'll let her pick the dinner spot, he'll pay for the dinner. This girl happened to move 2 months of them talking, so she's in another state now. So he didn't put her on the flight benefits. She flies around on his name, and it's just, I'm just like, and she ain't never gave you none, Andrew? Like, I talked to him last night. I'm like, dang, like, you gotta stop. Like, he's like, I know, man, I'm done, man. You're right, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta figure out, I gotta get you with some men to get you. It's just sad, but it's a lot of men like that are getting played, and it's the culture. It sucks. My brother was one, and luckily he lucked up on a wife, and he's happy now. You know what I'm saying? But I just hate it for men. I hate it for you guys. I really do. It's sad.
What do you mean you have to get in with some men?
Leadership. Men need leadership.
Okay.
You know, just because he first of all, he's from Detroit, but his mom has 7 sisters. He has all sisters, women,
So
bunch of women. He needs to
you're
be around like men. Men.
Man, I'm gonna come back to my question because I want other people to go, but I got a couple questions.
All right. Go ahead straight like that. What do you think about that day number 45 in reference to the video?
Saw that video. JR, appreciate that. I'm gonna say my honest opinion on the video is I'm not really sure if the women were being authentic. Kind of felt like they were just talking. Not really sure. But to just respond to what she was saying, I mean, I'll say this. If a man, and men know this, and I'll say this, and men can verify it. If a man, whether women find him to be good looking or not, if he has game, he has game. And you can see his fruits of the man that has game. If a woman has game, because I'm gonna judge her based on her saying she's a 10. If you're a 10 and you have game and you're a woman and you understand how this goes, then you shouldn't be 45 and unmarried and a 10. That doesn't, it's kind of like a contradiction. How you a 10 but you're 45 and single? So obviously, as a man, when we hear a woman say she's a 10 and she's not married, we know that it's probably your attitude. Or he cheated, right? Because that's why women are not with men, because they cheat all the time. So my first initial thought is I'm going to judge a woman based on the scorecard, how men judge women, based on the fact that women are able to speak like how men speak. Because if a man says, I got game, I'm this, I'm a baller, I can get women, then he should already have certain things in place, and we judge men based on what they have, not what they say. So she just kind of sounds a little foolish, saying she's a 10 but 45 and unmarried, or 50 and unmarried, whatever she's claiming. Yet she don't got nobody. She got nothing to show for it, but she's claiming this stuff. She just kind of seems like she's been a side piece for a very long time.
I just got a question, man. I know a lot of men on these platforms always speak so highly about marriage. On the other hand, we have a lot of folks that don't value marriage. So why is it that in order for a woman to be successful when it comes to relationship, it has to end in marriage?
I'm gonna answer that, JR, since I'm the one that started the convo, and then other brothers could kind of step in.
Your brothers,
but the reason,
but
but the reason why I say, as a woman, if you're married or not married is the bar, is because women, their perspective or what they say is, I need a man on this level. If women didn't say that, then it wouldn't matter. They keep saying, if a man was on this level, I'd be married. So obviously they value marriage, and obviously marriage is the end goal, because they've already dealt with men with money, or they've already dealt with men that has a certain swag or whatever. It's just they're not married. So they keep saying these things. And then on the flip side, JR, just to answer your question, men, generally speaking, although we can have our, our pick of the litter and sleep around, at some point we want a woman to come into our life and to add value, because it's not enough that I sleep with you. You have to do something else.
All right. Anybody else can get another perspective on that marriage question? Hold on, Luis. I'm gonna let Amira go because she haven't spoken, and I'll come back to you, Luis, if you don't mind. Go ahead, Amir.
The reason why marriage is the bar is because marriage is the only thing that has any risk. All the other things hold no risk. They don't mean anything. Marriage is the only thing that actually means something. That's why marriage is the standard. That's why marriage is considered the you made it success. There's no reason to throw a party for someone banging somebody else. There's no reason for us to have a family gathering to celebrate your guys' one night stand. What are we celebrating? Nothing. But marriage, there's a reason for the family to gather. There's a reason for celebration.
Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I I was gonna respond quickly to something she said, and then I'm gonna say something else. You said that they made it, but I don't think that they made it. I think they're just beginning. You know what I'm saying? People say like marriage is not the end result. It's the beginning. It's where the race starts, not where it finishes. So that's just one perspective. I would say this. Most of these chicks have been career side chicks their whole life in jump off, their entire life. And then all of a sudden they're trying to carve out a relationship out of stone. Like they've been practicing non-monogamy their entire life, and then wanna, wake up one day and expect, marriage and, a stable relationship with which they don't know what that looks like because they've never been in one long enough to have learned the lessons, the valuable lessons of what it takes to make something work. Like people today are very fickle. Everybody's quick to throw the towel in. Like you pissed me off today. We're breaking up. But they'll threaten, the relationship ending at least 20 times within a calendar month, right? And because they have this sold idea that there's something better for you on the other side, and in reality, there isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there's an inflated sense of ego, an inflated sense of pride that is happening today, that a lot of people think that they're much better than the person that they're currently with. Some people will be in a relationship with somebody and really think like, yeah, I could leave him tomorrow, or I could leave her tomorrow and go find somebody else. And that's just a sad state of mind in which we find relationships today. That's why those women in the video talk the way that they do, and they're single.
All right, copy that. Go ahead, brother Hink. Dating over 45, man. What are your thoughts about the video?
The funny thing about it is, man, one lady said I could date the father or the son. And that sounds real bad because you look at the son, he's probably about 20, maybe 21, maybe. But these are the same type of women that probably give Shannon Sharpe a hard time about dating a 20 or 21 or 22-year-old woman. How you going to do it? You doing the same damn thing. You're doing the same damn thing as he is. Look here. Let me say this. Most of them young dudes are not looking for nothing serious with you. If you dating a father, you may have a chance of maybe him settling down and marrying you and bless you with his last name. But if you dating a son, he's just having fun. He's just having fun with you, using you, and going to send you back to the streets. And then you could be saying this same sad song again. Men ain't shit. They're all dogs. They're no good. Well, man, you invested to a bad situation. You invested something you know you wasn't gonna get no IRA on. You knew you wasn't, but you wanted to have fun. You wanted to go through it. You wanted to get your back blown out and all that good stuff. Okay, cool. then if that's what you want, don't look for him, them young boys, to take you serious and have a relationship, because he's not. Now, a lot of ladies, they not really looking for the marriage thing. You complain about all these men have all these health problems. Okay, that could be the case. But ma'am, he's gonna have to deal with you and your menopause and your hot flashes. You don't think that's an issue for a man when you're going through these mood swings and all of that? It's a dead of winter, but you freezing how cold you are, and you ready to turn the heat off and turn the air on, but it's 45 degrees outside. That's what men have to deal with when these ladies go through these things. So it's not like we both going to have some health problems. Yeah, that's very well could be the case. But you know something? I love you enough to see you through those health problems. I'm going to love you through enough to see you through your flaws. I'm going to do all of that. Why? Because I love you that much. That's why I bless you with my last name. And I was willing to accept everything about you. But a lot of these ladies, they don't really want that. So they want to go with these young kids so they can feel like they can control them. They can maneuver and move around and utilize their resources that they may have already stacked up and built up. And this young man has little to no resources, and they're going to try to hold that over and almost treat him like he's a older son, but really is your younger boyfriend, your younger boy toy. That's what they want. They don't want that man because he already knows. He's already been through the ups and downs and the rigmarole. Maybe he was already previously married and he's going into his second marriage. And now he's already educated on the system. He knows how to operate and deal with these type of situations. And I can't control him. I can't tell him what to do because he's already seasoned. So he already know what it is. He's already know your moves, your games you want to play, these manipulation tactics that you may have tried, bat your eyes and pat him on his head. He sees all through that. And you can't use that against him. But that young boy, he'll fall for the banana and the tailpipe every goddamn time. Because you know what you do. You'll pat him on the head and smack on the ass and maybe give him a little head every once in a while. And he's thinking everything is everything. Well, all the while, you just taking advantage of the young boy. I'll leave it there.
I'll speak on it, man. Dating after 45. The thing that I've always said was that you either got to be dating or you got to be with yourself. Because if you're out here dating, then all you're doing is accumulating more bad experiences, especially the older you are. So if you 40, 45 and you actively dating in hopes of marriage and it's not successful, then I think that you're just creating more trauma for yourself. So I think it is risky to be out here dating after 45. If you so choose to take care of that early, maybe your expectations are not as high and you actually able to figure out what's a necessity when it comes to you being able to spend your life with only one person. And I think if you do that early, then it's just a little bit more less riskier, man. But the older you get, you're just accumulating more and more and more trauma. And if you do find a guy, now he has to be able to digest all of your experiences and come to an understanding, which may be difficult depending on how healed you are. I don't think you ever healed, but I think you have to be able to manage all the trauma that you've accumulated based off of all the experiences that you're doing. So I suggest, try to get to being with someone if that's what you choose to do. But if you're just out here dating, you're either wasting somebody else's time or you're wasting your time. If the end goal is for you to be with somebody.
I don't
Can I
think
speak on
nobody should be
today? I
dating.
really didn't get to answer the question. I apologize for not really answering the question. I was just responding to that video. At 2016, I got divorced. I was 41, going on 41 at the time of dating. Now, during that time, it was interesting, to say the least, of being back out in the field against at that age. It was scary at times, you know what I'm saying, because you didn't know You didn't know what you was about to get. I'm assuming, I'm thinking talking about to have go on a date or interact with a mature woman, but you know, some of the women you dealing with, man, they know older than my daughter, and she's 29 right now. And that was some of the mindsets you was dealing with. It was kind of scary. Like, damn, man. I mean, what is it? I'm thinking through their experience and through their age, the mindset should change. They should be talking like this, but they're talking like some of the young ladies that you would see in high school or something like that. And that was crazy, but that's what it was. Like I think DJ said, they was hanging out in the club. Yeah, they would want to be hanging out in the club, going out and staying out all night. Look, I'm not a spring chicken at the time. I'm not going to be hanging out in the club. I go to listen to a live band, listen to live music, but I'm not going to be out there, you know, saying popping it and all that. You know, you ain't gonna get ink out there doing that. I want to, you know, relax, get a nice meal. I'm damn right. I want to relax, have a nice meal, sit and have a conversation, and get to know you and what you all about. I don't want to be talking about the latest gossip at your workplace. I'm not into that. I'm too old for that shit. Maybe get with your girlfriends and do all that. That was when I first started. Now, of course, I just got married. It'll be a year ago in August. So I felt like I need to go get a woman that's a little bit older. Now, she's not that much older. She's probably 11 months older than me. But I was willing to do that because I was looking for that mature woman, that mature lady. And women at the age of when I was at 41 was seeming like they were still talking like they 25 or 30 years old. I'm like, nah, I'm not with this. So yeah, it's tough. It's a challenge. It could be very entertaining to watch some of these ladies moving and operate the way they was. But yeah.
I know DJ mentioned something about she don't agree with dating, so we'll let her speak on that. Get to Dory G, and then we'll go ahead and play some more of that video.
Oh, you want me to?
I
I
mean,
just
you
don't,
spoke on it.
honestly,
Yeah.
I just don't. Personally, I think people need to work on themselves. So just like it's Hink, right? Yeah, just like Hink said, you know, like I'm his age when I already divorced. So I've been divorced for 16 years now. But my thing is, I've been here just focusing on just having my business and raising my daughter, you know, putting her through school where she's now in college. But, you know, before that, the 2.5 men I dated here in Atlanta, it just, people need to grow. And if we're at this age and you said dating 45, so I'm gonna just say 40, between 40 and 50. If you're in that space, I understand what Hink is saying because Hink, I promise you, I I ain't never had a dating app. I went on a dating app today. I promise you, I swiped X on everybody. Like just the fact of what I'm actually a reader. I'm not a physical. Like I'm looking at if that looks like y'all. Like here go all men. I'm like, okay, cute, 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 cute. Let me read. I want to read. And as soon as I see it's some like buzzwords of like new terminology or any type of things, it just really it's annoying to me. Their mindsets are so young. So he said the women were young. I think a lot of the men are like 40. They're worse. A lot of these men been stuck in a marriage that I'm meeting in their 50s, late 40s and 50s that are getting divorced and only stayed in a relationship for a kid. So I'm meeting those men with vasectomies that are little boys again too. So they're stuck in their mindset too. So in reality, a lot of people between 40 and 50 have already been married early. And the men that I'm meeting are, you know, they stayed for a child or something like that. But in the space now, I'm just like, man, you talking about Lapeef, you said what you said, but I'm like, man, they don't even need to be dating. People just need to meet somebody, build it, see if there's even a connection. Try to align, forget dating. Like, try to align and see where that goes and stay connected and be friends for a while. Like, you said, that's what you said. You said, um, we're going out here just creating bad experiences and traumas. No, it shouldn't even get to that. And it should never even get to that space.
Well, the reason why I said that is because if it's not successful, then 9 times out of 10, that means that's a fail. So even if you are, if your goal was to go to marriage and you're dating and it's not ending the way you want to, then it was a bad experience. And how bad the experience is, it just all depends on the situation. But when I think about it, I'm like, well, that was a bad experience. If I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, well, have you been actively dating? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I've dated 5 guys in the past 2 years. And depending on the length and experience, those are all bad experiences. So your outlook on how you look at dating or communicating with men in hopes of something, trying to be optimistic about how it's going to go, is probably going to be bad. And so that's the reason why I say that you're accumulating trauma, because trauma doesn't have to be extreme. Trauma could be something subtle. And those
Right. But
things,
what I'm saying, Lapeef, is that's still setting a image in your mind of a goal. Get out of that. People need to get out of that and live in the now, in the space of dating themselves, being with themselves. And if they connect with somebody, if I just happen to connect with a guy at Whole Foods tomorrow when I go to the store in the morning to go get my groceries, and he's just, and I'm not looking for nobody, but if he just, approaches me in a space to where we just cross path and the energy's connected, then okay, cool, we'll connect. But I'm not expecting anything. What I'm saying is we're not kids. So stop connecting to everybody trying to build with them. You do that when you're kids. Like, oh, you like overalls? Oh, me too. Oh, you play Sega? Oh, me too. Oh, you do this? Oh, me too. We should connect. We should be friends. We should go together. Like, that's what I'm saying. Get out of that mindset. We're too mature. We have too much to lose in the space of even creating those, you said, traumas and I don't, you're saying if you dated 5 guys in 2 years, those are all traumas. I don't have one trauma connected to no ex. So I don't know where you're in the space of where your exes are traumas or anybody on this panel, but I don't have ex traumas. So I don't have those type of mentalities that I connect with. So what I'm saying is in the space of expecting, where did that come from? Stop. And the part of expecting, we have to stop doing that. Just connect with people. That's it. And everyone doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be a business relationship, but just let things build organically, because you're not meeting, like, luckily Hink
hold
got
on.
married, but that's that's a that's an anomaly. You know what I mean? And congrats to him. But he
So,
knows and appreciates that.
so
Yeah, but
hold on, let me say this real quick.
And I'm a DJ, and I DJ a lot of weddings, and they be divorced within 2 years.
So let me just say this real quickly. In my personal experience and opinion, I don't think a lot of people even know that they have trauma. So even though you can say that, not you, right? You may be something different, right? But folks often say that they don't have any trauma, and they do have trauma. Like, I've actually dated people where I've seen things come out, particularly in conflict, and I just note to self, like, damn, hmm, do I want to deal with this for the rest of my life? So I don't even think a lot of folks can even identify if they have trauma. But if we looking at this thing logically, if you are actively dating and you're trying to marry or trying to get into an exclusive, serious, super serious relationship, whatever you want to label it as, and it doesn't go well, I would probably think, if I'm looking at this logically, that it was a bad experience. You can say, because you hopes that it was going somewhere. You had time, you invested, you probably invested some money, and it didn't go your way. So then I would probably say that you're disappointed.
That's why I said no expectations. We have to stop with that expectation.
That's not
They,
true. You have expectations. There's
yeah,
no
I don't
way
believe in that. I don't
that's
believe in that.
you
I'm
cannot
not
believe.
putting, because that's only a thought in your head that you're creating for the other person to fulfill. And if that's transactional.
So for
Okay, let me
example,
ask you this: like, have you ever had expectations? Like, this may be how you look at it now, but have you ever had expectations?
Yeah.
Right. So,
I used to be transactional. I used to be in fake
right.
relation.
So
I
the
used to be
reason why,
in
right?
I used to be in relationships when I
Yeah,
believed in them. I used to love the idea of
yeah.
marriage and being in
So
one, but it's
yeah,
transactional.
so those bad,
Most people will leave if there is no commitment.
so
So
those
they will
bad
treat you
outcomes,
different.
have shaped the way you look at relationships, and that can be a
No,
form of
that's not
trauma.
bad outcomes. It's
if
not
you
bad
change
outcomes.
why? What's the purpose of an expectation?
For
Like, for
me,
example, yeah. So for
for
example, you
me,
have kids, right? You have kids, right? Miss DJ, you have kids, right?
I
Or
do.
children. Okay. So you're saying that you set no expectations for them.
With my kids,
Yes.
yes. Why are you bringing kids and it has to do with
Let me
your
explain.
character?
Let me
That has
explain.
nothing to do with your own personal character. Stop. Why do y'all bring kids and sex and
Well,
everything?
I don't know about other people. I'm trying to explain to you as it relates to
Right.
life.
But kids have nothing to
Logic.
do with what we're talking about as single people dating in 45. We're talking about the
Well, watch what
space.
I'm about to tell you, though, Miss DJ.
I'm telling Lapeef that I don't even think that people should be looking for expectations out of a person they meet. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I
Rock,
know what you're
either y'all rock, y'all align, y'all could be just made to be friend. People force a fit. I don't think we should be forcing fits based on because you know you want a husband or you want a wife. All I'm saying is everybody's not supposed to fit that shoe.
right. So with
So what
even
I'm
in your
saying is
statement,
slow
though, you're
yourself down, date yourself, guard yourself. So then if it is a true connection and then friendship is built, now love is there, which love only means acceptance to me, non-calculated, then we can talk about moving to marriage. But in the space of expecting marriage because you're a man and we like each other and all this, like I'm not setting myself up to be hurt. And I'm not placing that burden on you that you got to fulfill some ideal thing I have in my brain of this husband I want. I'm
so
just
what
gonna
I'm
rock with
saying,
you
Miss
for who
DJ,
you are. And if it fits, it fits.
right? You've
But if it
repeated,
doesn't, it doesn't. But I don't expect you to come engaged to me on a horse in the middle of like
right?
I'm not doing the I'm not I
No,
don't want to put those pressures on people.
you got to let somebody else respond to you, right? So the reason why what I'm saying is that you do have an expectation based upon the statement that you're making. So when you go out on this particular date, you
I don't
have an
date, but go ahead.
if you did date, whenever you
No,
go
I
out,
didn't. How you gonna tell me I dated?
because you had exes.
No, I didn't date.
Okay. So if you have an ex, that's what that means.
No,
Right. So
I don't date.
okay,
So,
cool.
like, how about that? Ask her to explain what that means, just so
All right.
we can get understanding. Because I'm curious as to if
Explain how
I've
is
been
it
telling men that for 18 years. I don't go on dates.
because you're very argumentative without wanting somebody to respond to you.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that. Thanks, doctor.
so I'm trying to understand how is it that you're saying that you don't date, however you have an ex. Could you elaborate on that?
He's asked you to elaborate what date means because I told you clearly I don't date. So what
No,
does your dating means?
I said, since you're saying that you don't date, right?
Correct.
But you have an ex, how did he become an ex? If there was no courting, if there wasn't a position of building a relationship, right?
Again,
A
what
person
is
cannot be an
dating?
ex if it was a
What is
relationship.
dating to you? Because dating to you is probably not what dating is to me.
No, I don't do that. Like I don't do what it is to you. I speak as it relates
Well,
to
he
what
asked you to explain it to me. So if you can't, then don't ask me
well,
anything.
well, I was asking you, like, could you define? I mean, both of you guys can define how you look at dating because that would just advance the conversation. So whoever want to go first can.
dating is where two people go out and they experience they have an experience with one another with the expectation of that they know what's going on, right? So if I go out with a lady and I take her out, the expectation is that she will be there at the house or she will be at where we decided to go to. That's an expectation. It is considered a date in the culture of the world is that two people are going to a destination to enjoy themselves. That is dating.
Yeah, so I dated when I was a kid.
Okay.
Back to that.
All right, cool. So, nevertheless, when we talk about these conversations, right, we have very honest conversations if everybody has a different definition of something. However, as it relates to expectations, everybody has expectations because that is how you decide if you want to be with somebody or not. That means you have boundaries. Most people have some type of boundary or some type of moral compass or immoral compass, however you want to look at it, and they decide based upon is somebody going to do what it is that they want them to do or not want them to do. And
Can
so
we
they
get
make
her definition of dating? I'm
she
sorry,
said
I'm good.
so she's not going to give a definition because she wants, I don't know, wants to be argumentative instead of
No, I think she wanted to hear how you looked at it, but I don't think we heard how you look at it, DJ. So how do you, if you're not dating, then what is that interaction between you and the exes is what we're trying to get understanding. So if you dated when
Well,
you was
first of
younger,
all, I've had one husband and one true boyfriend. I don't
So
date.
how long
I
have you
was
been married?
single 9.5 years. I was fully single 9.5 years. I was fully single 5.5 years. So I don't date. The boyfriend that I had was a high school boy I already knew, and that ended up being my boyfriend after I divorced my ex-husband. But I don't court, I don't date, I don't let men meet me and say, hey, I'm taking you out. You want to go to dinner with me? I meet men all the time. You know how many times I get that question? Can I take you out? Can I take you out? No, 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 no. I've been saying that forever. Talk to me on the phone. And 9 times out of 10, they talk themselves out of Nana. And I'm good. So, no, I don't date. They don't make it there.
You said
So I could date.
talk
I could
themselves
date.
out.
I could go sit on dinner dates
You
with
said
guys.
you
They try, but I'm not
DJ,
interested.
DJ, DJ.
Huh? Huh?
You said they talk themselves out of Nana. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
okay, all right. Let me go ahead and get some more folks in. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we don't get away from the topic. Go ahead, Dory G. What do you have on dating after 45? I know you've been here, Angela. You probably didn't see the video yet, have you?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
did see the video.
not you, Dory G. Angela. Angela.
Oh,
After Dory G goes, then we're going to play the video some more, and then we'll go to Angela first. Go ahead, Dory G.
I was gonna say, I think people should. I mean, I don't let age limit, you know, dating just because we're getting older. I think of it as, we have younger people that prefer older people, So with y'all dating, you give some of the younger people an option to explore you. And on top of that, sometimes, marriage doesn't work out the first time. You get married in your 20s, in your 30s, and it doesn't work out the first time. So, if you want, to be married still, even after that doesn't work out, give yourself that second chance. I've heard of people, who are 50 years old getting married for the first time too. So there's also the fact that everyone has a different timetable for when they find love and, based on life experiences and things like that. So that's my stance.
All right. Trying to say something, Louise?
Angle with that though, like I know that there isn't no age limit on dating and stuff, but is there like a goal? Like we're dating for companionship, we're dating for, finding our significant other, we're dating towards marriage. It seems like we get on that Ferris wheel and we go round and round and round, and we're okay staying on that without no destination in mind. So I'm just curious, what does the end kind of result look like?
Who was that for, Dory? Or just anybody?
Yeah, that's for anybody.
I think that people date for different reasons, right? For me, dating someone is the process of getting to know them and evaluating based off whatever that goal is.
I was gonna say, I don't think people don't have any intentions when they date, or they just do something just to do it. I think overall people seek companionship, and that's like the main reason for it. And maybe their companionship looks like, friends with benefits or one night stands, or seeking marriage. But really, that's what it's about. Is like we're all social creatures, so that's what it comes down to me anyway.
All right, let me get to these super chats. Mont and Deja 199 says, "What's a high value chick?" You guys believe in a high value chick? Is it a thing? I guess if we had to guess, it would probably be a woman that's in our bag, right?
No,
No?
no, because who determines what the value is? The women or the men?
I would say maybe society, but it's going to be subjective. You probably get different answers for everyone, but I would think how majority of people look at it, they probably look at a woman that's very successful, would probably consider herself as being a high value chick, no?
I don't think it exists. I think there's a thing as more desired, women who are more desirable, but high value.
It just all depends on how you view value. Some people don't put value when it comes to money. They may be value when it comes to other
Business.
things, business or femininity. It's all depends. So I don't even think we can all agree on what it is. It's just gonna be subjective. Mine again, 199 says, "How do you luck up on a wife?" Is that possible to luck up on a wife?
In my culture, yeah.
Yeah, culture.
I think did they say that too when I said Hink lucked up and got lucked up right after he got divorced and met somebody? I
Yes,
think that was to that.
This was at 9:23 Central, so probably 10:23 your time.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know I said that to Hink, but I don't know.
I disagree with that statement. I don't really think you can luck up on anything, to be honest.
In my culture, you can wake up married.
Mott,
what did you say?
With the 499, he didn't hear you, Mary. What did you say?
I said you could be single and wake up married in my culture. So technically, yeah, you could luck up.
Not really.
Being married component is not a success story. I
No.
mean, it's a lot of unhappy married people. I think that people want to have a healthy relationship more than they want to just be married.
Yeah.
Hopefully segues into marriage and legacy, but being married is not in itself such a huge accomplishment, especially if we're contrasting it to the fruits of the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just my
They got to be healthy themselves with themselves, because a lot of people tend to try to find people to make them complete or to heal them or to fix them, but in reality,
I think
a healthy
real
marriage
quick,
is more beneficial than a healthy relationship any day.
I wanna.
What'd you say? Can you say that again?
I said a healthy marriage is better than a healthy relationship any day.
Can I say something real quick?
I think it's the same thing.
I want to say something real quick. I think we're getting the definition of marriage wrong, and I probably have a different definition. But I'm not going to say that because I don't want to offend anybody. But I would say, all right, I'll say it.
It's
I'll
different
say it.
cultures. Say it. We don't.
No, I'll say it. All right, so scripturally speaking, biblically speaking, marriage is a covenant. So marriage is an arrangement between two people. So you can't luck up on marriage, because if someone forces you, or you've done it out of like a necessity standpoint, or man married you just based on sex, it's not a covenant. It's not a promise. You know, a promise is a sacrifice, and then it's also what would I say, a duty to fulfill. So you can't lock up on that. But you could technically be married and and just get married, but it's not really a real marriage because there's no covenant attached to it. So it's kind of pointless.
This sounds very poetic, but it's still rubbish.
I think DJ
Because
thinks
being married is the covenant.
Yeah, but no. Wait, one second hint, because Amir just said it sounds poetic, but it's rubbish. Okay, whatever. Amir, if a woman wakes up, right, as you just said, and if a woman wakes up and she's just married, that's not a marriage, because in order for a marriage to happen, a woman has to accept the proposal. She has to say yes to. Okay, so then you can't just wake up and be married. She has to agree to the terms of the marriage.
That was a joke.
I think she was being sarcastic in her culture. She's saying that it was more of like sarcasm.
That's fine.
Like,
that's fine if she's doing that.
Even when I said,
I'm just telling her,
a man talking himself out of nana, that was sarcasm too. It was more or less
that's fine. That's fine that she's saying that.
No, that was sarcasm. It was basically,
I
I
ain't
say
gonna let
that
y'all
like,
gang up on straight like that now. I ain't gonna let y'all
No, hold on.
No.
That's fine. That's fine that she said that. That's fine that she said that. I'm saying to her, despite her being funny or her sarcasm, I'm saying a marriage is not a woman just waking up and being married. A marriage is a covenant. A woman has to agree to the terms of the marriage. A man has to make the proposal. He has to give the terms. And then both of them come together and say, okay, let's do this. And then you have to honor that covenant.
So if the terms never happened, then the marriage never happened. So
Correct.
You're not really making any sense. When you
yes,
get married,
I am.
Everybody's making a
I literally just broke it down for you, Amir, because what I'm saying to you is a real marriage. I'm not talking about any other marriage. I'm talking biblically speaking. I'm talking Quran, any Bible that you read. I'm talking about that. If a man makes a proposal, a woman has to agree, and that means a covenant. And then you are in a marriage. If it is not that, then it's a new form of a marriage.
All right. Let me get the rest of these super chats and then we'll go ahead and play some more of this clip. Modern Deja 499 says, not true. If I have value, man, invest in that success. You don't need a ring. Some chicks have the ring and still don't pass the test. Happy Mess with the $20 says, there's a disconnect. We've become almost paranoid and hostile. It's like these screens have made us forget we're dealing with human beings. Monty J says, Jay, I missed the link. Yeah, I did drop it. You got to scroll up, man. But we full right now. But somebody dropped in, come up. Mott, $2 says, stop it. You agree to the terms in relationship. I want to thank everybody that has contributed. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and play some more of this clip. We'll do a well-being check. Y'all good? HD, Luis, what's going on, Aisha?
Hey,
Aisha. Good to see you. All right, here we go, y'all. Let's get to it.
Feel empowered by that.
No.
I'm just saying.
I think it's a balance. I feel like when you're at a certain space in your life, you know what I mean? Like I've been divorced. I've been married most of my life, and you're in a certain space you don't expect or want less than, or your standards and your boundaries are different. So I personally feel like it's a lot. It's been a lot. It's been challenging, trying. It's been a lot.
Well,
But
I mean,
but
I'll help you out there, Melita. I
yes.
think a lot of times they expect once you reach a certain age that you're supposed to compromise and settle.
That's
And you
good.
hear that word a lot. They say, "Oh, you're 45, you're 48. Just take what you can get." As if you don't bring a lot to the table. Think about it for a second. As women, there's so much we have to do. You know, men, they put on a black tee, some jeans or sweatpants and sneakers, and they out the door. You know, they take their little bald head. We getting hair,
Not the ball.
makeup, eyelashes, nails, waxing. We got the whole situation that we have to do only to present ourselves to someone who's subpar. That's crazy. And then to say that we should reduce ourselves down because of the ratios, as they say. But when you talk about the ratios, we should really talk about quality women
The quality,
versus
that's good.
quality men. Because there's a lot of women out here, but you, Marcel, you know they ain't shit.
I'm really
Quality.
just taking this all in. I mean, I'm not going to
give us your
real.
opinion.
I can't really elaborate on because I think, I mean, from Dawn's perspective, though, the question is, what is she saying? Like, what's that standard there, right? I don't what she considers to be a 7 to whoever could be a 10 to someone else.
That's true.
So it's I
That is
think
true.
that right there kind of mixes the bowl. That's the first thing, right?
Yes.
Because where you are in your life, that's going to create your standard. That's one. I mean, again, born here in the DMV, District, Maryland, Virginia, for you guys that are national. It's just what it is. It's just kind of like in Atlanta. It's going to be the ratio issue. It's going to be way more women than guys. I wouldn't want to be a female in that situation because it does lend to some of the things that you hear Dawn speaking to. Like you're just going to have guys that are willing to take a shot because they already know that, listen, like if I see it, let's whatever, we can say a 10 is whatever somebody's perspective is, but that guy sees a 10, he feels emboldened to take the shot because he has nothing to lose.
I'm gonna stop it there, man. You're talking about settling. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let me go ahead and get Angela in there. Angela and Aisha next. And we'll go back to HD and Luis. Go ahead, Angela.
You asked me what I think about women settling or just about people settling in general?
You can give both if you like, or whichever one feels stronger in you. But if you look into us a video, she was talking about settling with men.
I do agree with her when she says that the world will try to make you. A lot of time, the world implies that women over a certain age don't have as much romantic value in the dating world. But honestly, I just think that if you adopt that idea, it's going to manifest itself. If you focus on that, it's going to manifest itself. Value, as we kind of touched on earlier, is subjective. It just depends on what your metric of value is. Some people are more shallow and materialistic, where some people are more spiritual and go off what they contribute to the world and what they leave behind, and legacy and things like that. So I don't think that another person can define your value. They can compare you, but I just don't agree with that ideology at all. So, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Ish.
I feel like this is a loaded conversation. But in a sense, I do agree with Angela. I feel that when I think about the value of myself, it's more of a comparison. I don't think that anybody can give me my value. I think I give myself value by the way that I feel about the things that I do and my impact on the world. Like I know what my value is, but that's something that I've obtained within myself, like my moral compass, my goals. Like I value myself. So I know that men put value on women, like, oh, if you over, like the lady said, if you're over 45, you're damaged used goods. If you have kids, if you've been married, it's like all these stipulations. But on the other end, there are men like JR who are like, they're solely basing it on like your accomplishments, like the things that you've accomplished in the world. That, in a sense, gives that woman value, which I think that that does not give you value, because just like with the man, you could be the richest man in the world, but really don't have nothing, no morals, no values, the loneliest person in the world. So I just think that value is very subjective. Like, that's subjective. I think that it's, it's individual, you know what I'm saying? Because you can look at somebody and see no value in it. I can look at someone and be like, I don't see the value in that person. Someone that my friend is dating, right? Why would you be with him? And to her, he has all the value in the world. So I just think it's subjective. I think it's a loaded conversation.
Do you guys like, so like as men, right? Like as Black men, do you feel like your value that you've accepted for yourself is based on societal standards, or would you say your value comes from God's standards, or like how do you navigate that?
Well, our value is based upon who says yes to our proposal or our asking out on a date. So the who sets the value of who you are in the dating market is the person that will approach you or allow you to approach them. So, for example, when you say that you set your own value, you can say that's your value. Like you can say that you are an 8 or a 9 or a 10, but if the people that are in front of you that you want to approach you don't see you as that, then that's not your value. So that means that you have overvalued yourself. No different than if we were to liken it into the business market. Who sets the market? It depends on how much there is of something in most cases, but also if you talk about a house, if there's an appraisal, the person that sets the value of that house is the appraiser, not the buyer or the seller, right? So it's important for us to not get it twisted and say, I set my own value. You can, but if nobody's buying, then you're gonna have to redo it. So I think that men have a different perspective in understanding that women set the value that they consider who we are. That's exactly why you all have, not you all necessarily on the panel, have described the guy as high value or have put him at an 8 or a 9 or a 10 because of how you see it. And even in the statement that you made, Aisha, you gave value to somebody else without thinking about it. I believe you said that the guy, you may not see the value in him, but she does. So even in your own scenario, you describe that the other person is the one that sets the value. And so men know that women set the value for them.
So we're talking value in terms of just the romantic realm. That's what we're talking about. Are we compartmentalizing those two things?
No, I'm
Like,
saying men know that women are the ones that set the market. Men know that. Men, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong.
I'm not really.
Facts. Women tell other men who are valuable. So I don't understand why she don't understand that. She knows that if a woman, like, mind you, in high school, you used to have the high school dance, right? So in the high school dance, women would either come with a date or they won't. But what they will do is the guy that she likes, she'll bring that guy on the dance floor, and then she'll check back on her homegirls to make sure they all approve, because she's not trying to dance with no dude that no other woman want. So she's like, is he good? Is his hairline good? Is his fitted nice? Is he dressed nice? See what I'm saying? So to my brother's point, right? To my brother's point is a woman would bring a man around her friends to test that she's making the right choice. So the women will dictate. The women. I'm going to answer your question, Angela. The women dictate the value of a man. The women do that. So in. Go ahead. I'll let you respond to that.
I just wouldn't value myself or accept somebody. I just wouldn't value myself based on if somebody else likes me or not. Like,
We,
or
we never we never said that. We said that the women. We never said that. We said the women dictate the value of a man. That's facts.
that.
Like value specific. Okay, so maybe we can get this word together. So when you say that you value yourself, what is it that you're saying that that makes you valuable?
What the work that I've put into myself, the sacrifices that I've made, the progress that I've made, whether it be emotional, physical, the amount of effort that I put into myself, my growth, my purpose. I think that that is what I measure as value. Um, yeah.
Okay, so then how would that help a man?
How would that help? In a lot of ways.
Please explain.
For example, um, if I'm eating healthy and we're together, your health is going to improve. If I'm somebody who has a creative and ambitious mindset, if you're around me and engaging, that's going to help you prosper in the ways of your finances or your business. If um, I'm someone who is like a conflict resolution minded type of person, if I come into your life, then you will be able to see how to navigate disagreements or conflict in a way that might better suit, whatever you got going on in your world, so those types of things I feel like are value. If you feel lost or you get depressed a lot and I come around and I'm speaking to the positives, the strengths in you, if I'm helping you to get to know God, that's bringing value. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a friend to you and I'm creating boundaries to protect the friendship, because I know that you're not supposed to fuck every woman that you meet just because she's attractive. Like, that's shifting your mindset and helping you to see women differently and helping you to value women differently. Like, that's what I think also brings outside of how a person, in this case, a man, physically protects and provide.
Okay,
But
let
he
me,
had
let me say
already
this, Louise. Say this,
worked.
let me say this real quick. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so all of those were very good. No, I'm not even being funny. Okay, those are really good. However, if that man doesn't want those things, then you're not valuable to him. You see
And
what
I
I'm
that, but
saying?
what
So that man would set the standard of what is valuable in you for him. You see what I'm saying? The same thing works the other way around, right? Because the things that you mentioned were very good, but if a man already has those things, then you're not bringing him anything of value.
I understand what
Humble Dad, did we not hear what she said? She doesn't value a man. She values herself. And
Yeah,
so
I heard that, but I wanted to see what I did though, right?
herself. So
Yeah.
that lets you know you bring no value to a man because you just bring it to yourself. You can care less what the man think.
No, she did though.
Sound
She
like
did. She did. Secondly, though, because the first thing I asked her was, "Why is she valuable?" She did say things about herself, but then I rephrased the question to ask her, how valuable would she be to a man? And then she gave that particular response, and my response to her was that if that man already has that, then she has not brought value to that man. That's
but
what I would.
Humble Dad, if you have to do that, then that man's not the first value. He's second and third string. He's not even a starter. And that's not good.
I think it just went completely over your head, like things usually.
Oh no. I
But we
heard what you, ma'am,
that
I heard what you said. Humble
only
Dad heard what you said. Humble Dad threw your life preserver and helped you out. And you still almost failed the test. He gave you the cliff notes and everything, and you still almost failed the test.
Okay, so let's bring this in this particular. I'm gonna start with you, Luis, and let's be honest about this, right? Because I'm pretty sure when we all dating, we think we got it mastered. But I was making an argument that on both sides we could probably be failing, and I realized we failing, right? So if you meet someone and you're hearing more about I, would that be considered a red flag, or do you think that they just may not understand the question, or may not understand what you're asking, or do you think it's just how they really think, and so you may have to just leave them alone? Go ahead, Louise.
So I'm meeting this person and they're self internalizing like I this and I that, and it's a lot of like personal sort of inner reflection in a sense, right? There's a lot of I statements in their response.
So is it dependent on the question, or because Humble Dad rephrased it and she was able to answer it, and Humble Dad's response, like she satisfied the question because maybe he was thinking maybe she didn't really understand the question. So do you think it's just a communication barrier, or do you honestly believe that when somebody leads with that this is how they truly think?
More often than not, people will tell you exactly how they think. I mean, you give them the opportunity to think freely and express themselves, they're not going to take the time to, you know, digest it and reinterpret it in a way that is more palatable to the people or the audience who's listening. It's never going to be packaged that way.
I think it's very important to pay attention to the language that a person uses and what they choose to speak up about and what they choose to stay silent about. It's very important to pay attention to those undertones.
So what did you think that when I first asked the question, what did you think that I was asking?
You talking about as far as with the value?
Yeah.
I was just really trying to gauge understanding because I know a lot of times when we use terms generally, people kind of have their own understanding of it, and I just think that when we're talking about, I just thought that she was just trying to get more of an understanding of my perspective, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Is it Aisha? I'm sorry. Is it Aisha? So did you understand when I was responding to about your statement that as far as the value statement, you said that you say that you state your own value. However, in your example, you gave value to somebody else.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
So do you still hold that to be the case as what Miss Angela was saying, that you still believe that you the one that provides your own value, or do you believe that other people set your value?
I think that it's two different things. I think that if we're talking about in a dating world, I feel like in a dating world, a man or the opposite sex is going to set, I guess y'all using value, a standard or a value of what they would like or what they would have. So in that essence, yes, I do agree. But I just feel like overall in life, you know what I mean? I know my value. You know what I mean? So I think that it's kind of two different, conflated things that were put together, but I think that it's two different things. Because once again, like I said, I can look at someone and be like, he ain't worth shit. And then my friend be like, he's Jesus. You know what I mean? So it's like people set their own value for the partner that they want to have. And whether we like it or not, people do it, Angela, is what I'm saying. And whether we want to accept the value that they put on us is up to us.
Girl, they can listen. I don't participate in that. I don't.
You talking about Hink, or you talking about me?
I'm not talking about you. I'm response to Asia, what she just said. I just don't participate in it. I mean, a person can.
I guess you guys contradict each other because she just told you your value, and
That's not a big. But what I'm saying is a person can be like, oh, well, you're not my type. But that doesn't make me not, it might make me not a good fit for them. They might not like me, but that doesn't define my value. I just don't.
No. Do you consider, when we say value, are you saying you as a human being, or we're talking in a relationship?
A person like saying that they like me or not like me could I mean, they don't equate. So yes, that's what.
No, so that's what I'm asking. I'm asking you personally. Do you think when we're saying value, do you think we're saying you as a human being, or
Yes.
just
That's
no?
not.
We're not saying no. That's not what we're saying. Yeah, that's not what we're saying.
It's pretty simple, and then I'll digress. So, for example, I use this analogy, right? So, there's a such thing as Ivy League schools, and then there are mid majors, and then there are lower tier schools, right? So, in order to get into an Ivy League school, they have to value you based upon what you have accomplished, basically, because they want you to make them. They want you there so they look good, right? So the institution is what is determining your value as it relates to coming into their school, right? So it's the same thing as it relates to relationships. If men are approaching women, right, the woman is going to decide if that man is valuable enough to exist in her world, because she, at the end of the day, gets to determine the yeses and the nos as it relates to dating. But as it relates to marriage, the man is the one that's proposing. And if he's got to that point, she typically is going to say yes more times than not. So what I'm saying is that the other person is the one that's going to set the value of how your assets will increase their value or your value together.
Understood. Okay, so I want to ask the question: do you think that there is at least 3 common things that most men would say they want from their counterpart, their woman, female counterpart?
Yes.
And what would those things be?
Peace,
Okay.
respect,
Mhm.
and sex on a regular.
So I think that that could be a metric to generally define or comprehend a woman's value. So those things are like interpersonal skills. And I just kind of feel like involve interpersonal skills. So I feel like even though we are talking about 2 understandings of value, they almost cross reference each other. But that's all. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to give a little bit more.
For sure.
1 second, brother. 1 second, brother. And I'm glad that you guys end that conversation. She asked a very good question. That's like a guy asking a woman, okay, Angela, would you marry a man without a job?
No.
All right. Do you think 90% or most women would not marry a man without a job, right?
Yes, I agree.
All right. So that is something that all women require
Mhm.
from a husband, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now another thing I would say is, do most women want the man to be taller than her?
Yes.
Okay. So most women would agree with those 2 things, no?
Yes.
All right. The last thing I'm going to say is most women want a man that can what? Know her body and give her a real good orgasm. Yes or no?
Agreed.
Okay. So that's the prerequisite for women across the board. That's cross cultural lines, age. That's all women. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Cool.
There's a bus. There's a small bus waiting for you,
Or
Angela.
straight like that with the with the Stella.
Might want to catch that little bus in the back. He waiting on you.
All right, let's get some of the other folks that haven't been speaking, y'all. What do you guys think about the clip, man, or some of the interaction that was going on in the mirror? Dory, DJ.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I always say that men and women live in different worlds. So what works for a woman oftentimes will not work for a man. I heard Angela say that she could offer, because she's worked on herself, that she can teach the man or give him an example of how to what was the word you used, Angela? When tempers are high, how you can de-escalate situations and
Conflict resolution.
conflict resolution. Thank you. That is good. However, I believe, this is just my opinion, that men live in a different world than us women. Oftentimes, what works for us ladies does not work for men. And oftentimes, men are not going to try to communicate like women. When it comes to certain things, I believe that there are things that men inherently want from women, just like Clout Jones in the comment section, he said, we need to be more specific. We're talking about the sexual marketplace value. We're not talking about value as a person. We're not talking about value as a business. When we're speaking about the sexual market, thank you, Clout Jones. When I said value can be subjective, but typically we all want just about the same thing from the other sex when it comes to the marketplace. As for the dating marketplace, looks matter. Looks matter a lot in dating because people are trying to find somebody who is attractive. But in the marriage marketplace, it's not that much of a, it doesn't have as much weight, because when you're looking to get married, you're looking for things that are more deeper. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for a word for that in English, but you want to find something deeper than just looks, something less superficial than looks. And in the marriage marketplace, typically fertility is very high, youth is very high, fitness, because you need somebody who's fit. You can't really, build a family with someone. And there's a few other things like skill sets. Does she know how to cook? Does she know how to clean? Does she know how to do that? How's her family life? Is she, so on and so forth. So sexual marketplace value in the dating world, the scale is different from marriage. So yeah, I guess we could talk about that. And typically one person does not know their own worth. Typically a person trying to put a number on themselves, they will be off. Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little, but a person trying to say, if you ask somebody, well, what is your worth? Because I see so many videos out there where a woman says, oh, I need to get what I'm worth, what I deserve. What do you really deserve? Because you don't know. You in your mind may think that you're super valuable. In your mind, you're at the top, but reality is a different thing. So when I see a lot of people trying to give themselves their rating or give themselves their number on the scale, but you really can't. The world tells you your scale. The world tells you your number. Your results tells you your number. And that's why
I be of the world, so the world cannot give me my value, sweetheart. But I appreciate you expressing your opinion.
All right. Go ahead, Miss DJ.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I like to watch the video and stay on the video topic. It went a whole bunch of directions, and I'm just like not. I directly wanted to speak on it, but then it just went everywhere. So I'm not there.
Yeah, you can go speak on the video. Go ahead. Bring it back, DJ. Can you hear me?
Oh, I thought you said go ahead and speak on it, big dog.
No, I said DJ. Go ahead, speak on it. The video.
But I don't remember the video, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I like to be in detail. I don't want to skip over. You know exactly what the video was. I don't want to skip over. I'm doing other things. I got
Okay, I got you.
6 events I'm getting prepared for on my computer while watching your video. I gave your video direct attention, is what I'm saying. But then now everyone started going away from that.
Gotcha.
So I'm now not wanting to respond to the video because I don't want to respond, right? But I do remember a little bit of what she said, but I don't care to speak on it because I don't want to mess up what I originally wanted to say.
I got you. When I play the next one, I'm coming to you first, so we can get it fresh out the way. I'm learning my personnel. I got you, DJ. Go ahead, Dory.
I was gonna say I kind of also got caught up in
like
but I think I'm remembering something about settling. I guess it really just depends, like, because usually when I hear people settling, it's always a negative connotation that goes with it, like you're settling for less, like that's the term I always hear. But it's kind of like some people could have expectations that are too high and then really it's, they have to settle for what they should, be at, or lower their expectations a little bit. So I kind of lost the rest of my thoughts there with the rest of the conversation. But I
Okay,
just think,
Peef, I think I remember since she said that, it was the settling aspect. I don't like giving my opinion on that because women don't like what I say. But you're old. Like if you're old, you go down in value. I don't care, and I don't care what nobody says. I mean,
I
unless
don't
you're
care.
you're an anomaly. If you're in your 40s and you can still have a healthy pregnancy and your blood levels is fine and you're doing great, but it's not the average woman. So a woman can sit up here and individually speak about herself all day being in her 45, 50s, and she's this baddie and has all this value and she can pick and choose the man that she wants, the perfect man, and wait and wait. But in reality, I don't really like speaking to that because I don't think I do think women do lose value the older they get. And so if that's what the world says about them, it's what they say. And I think that's generally true.
Let me ask you this: do you think men lose value the older they get?
No,
Okay.
I
Why do you
don't.
think
I
a
think they
man
get
don't?
better the older they get.
Okay, why is that? Just to paint the
I
picture
mean, just
of
how we're made up. You know what I mean? We birth children. We go through so much. We're resilient. Women have a lot of responsibilities in life. Like the way the woman said it on the panel, like I remember what she was saying. It's like we gotta do our hair or this or that. No, that's the superficial things. That's not what a woman is. Like those are the superficial things. Those are not the things that men are looking for. That's not a man is not looking for a full face beat, a weave, a this, a this, a that, a that. She's saying, I gotta go get all this, but then I gotta get matched up with a basic man. I didn't like that. But no, I don't think I think that men typically get better as they get older because they can continue to have my homeboy is 67, just had two twins. Women can't do that. We're not made like that. So our bodies start breaking down really young, depending on how we start our life. It's a lot of women, we can get started at 13, 14 years old, some of them. So you never know, depending on the woman. But yeah, typically women in health, yeah, they go down quicker than men.
Is there anyone that disagrees with what DJ said right now? Okay, as I would like you to speak on that because I think it's important to kind of highlight this so we can try to gain understanding. Because maybe one of y'all may sound a little bit more logical depending on your perspective. So let's go ahead and paint this picture. And when you paint this picture, make sure you paint it well because in order to get somebody to buy into whatever it is you're saying, you gotta make sense. So go ahead, Angela. I'm not saying you're not going to make any sense, but I think it's important. That's how we get understanding, man. Go ahead.
You asking a lot, JR.
The first thing I want to say is just right off the bat, really quick, is women definitely outlive men. So that theory in itself is a lie. Like I don't know why you say because we
I thought he
outlive.
said Angela. I thought Angela was supposed to be answering.
Excuse me, please do not interrupt her. She
And
Yeah, but
Aisha, I
that's
didn't say
not.
I didn't say anything
Hold
about
on.
outliving. We were talking about value as a whole in the entity in the space of
Yeah,
dating.
boy, it's obvious y'all can't
So
follow
outliving,
directions.
yes, that's different. But
Jesus
we're not talking
Christ.
about outliving. But health wise, I see a lot of just
You went into the health aspect, and we're definitely healthier. We definitely go see the doctor. We definitely take
Now
care
we're
of
gonna get off the rails because they can't follow directions.
the dating because it's a lot of men
All
out here
right. So
in the closet. They need to be put up. All men do not have value. All men that have money have value, and there are few and far between. So like these all men just standing out in the club with bottles and chain, we're not interested in them. We're not dating them. We don't want them. We don't want the dudes that's out here taking the honey packs. I don't know what kind of old men you running into out here, but they're not all millionaires, and we don't want them.
Well, I don't place value on a man as far as money, though, so that's not my mentality.
But you do you so you said
It's
you
not money that I'm speaking of at all.
Angela, you know the question was?
Value could an old man bring? How old are we talking?
It's gone. She gone. She don't.
Angela, can you answer that question?
I
Please.
hear the question. I'm not trying to convince anyone of my point. I'm here to listen and just try to add.
Good God.
All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Like I do want to say this, right? So I take pride in listening. You know, the older I got, I've understanding the importance of listening, right? And sometimes I always say this is that in order for us to be able to learn, we have to be able to listen to the things that we don't agree with. And then we have to be able to see if it makes sense. You know, our mamas, society, culture, whatever it is that you got your learning from, it may have taught us wrong. So the only way we're going to be able to kind of balance our perspectives and our ideology is if we intake more data and the data that we don't agree with. So we have two different positions here. You know, one saying that the older you get as a woman, you lose value. We have another position whereas that women don't lose value. Let's take it out of the club. Let's take it out of like being real specific, but let's just generally speaking, let's really unpack this. I don't want this to get personal where we just attacking each other, but I really want to get somewhere with it. Because even if we don't agree, maybe it's something that we might can sleep on or we can think about for the future, and maybe it might be able to help us um, in our future perspective. So when I think we asking you, Angela, like what, or Aisha, whichever you guys want to speak at, like why do you think that women don't lose their value, generally speaking, without attaching it to club or some of this other little nonsense stuff?
I disagree with a woman's value being based off whether she can have kids or not when she gets older. And I just say that as like DJ, you said that one of the reasons that you used for making a man valuable was saying that he's one of your friends that is in his 60s, he's still able to have two children. For me, I don't know. I don't see how that makes him more valuable. Um as he gets older. And I don't think that a woman's value is solely based off her sexual appeal to a man, on the level of which her vagina, you know, I correlate value to purpose. So if we're talking about how much a man thinks I'm attractive as far as marketplace value, it depends on the man. One man, you may have five men that say you're not, I don't think that you meet my needs, and you may have 10 or 15 men that say you do. So I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, and
I
that's
thought,
fair, but more
I
or
thought
less
you
what I'm
said,
saying
I
is
thought you
being
said
Hold on,
desirable.
Hey, hold on. Let's let DJ respond to it. Let's let the ladies have it for a second.
Okay.
I was speaking of still, so I'm still stuck on the video, right? So I'm stuck on the video on my response, and my response again to me as it comes to a man and a woman. I think that a woman's body, I'm talking about just everything as a woman gets older. Now, I'm not saying, I said there's a lot of women, I know a lot of women that look bomb good. A lot of you, I don't know how old y'all are. I don't even know if y'all are in y'all 40s. Y'all look all 30. So, so um, I'm just saying for the women that are my age, I know a lot of women that do look good, but that's a small percentage, is what I'm saying. And in the space, if they can choose, I get men that say I look younger. But if they can choose, men, I mean, especially it's a 45-year-old. Let's just take who's single. I don't think Dad is or Hink, but let's take maybe Luis, and Peef, straight like that maybe. If you could take these three gentlemen, right, handsome gentlemen, if they can choose a 30-year-old woman over a 42-year-old woman, all I'm saying is they probably gonna go with the 30-year-old woman. Now I'm not saying that they won't go with the 42-year-old woman, but humble dad mentioned something earlier, and I think the third thing he said was sex on the marriage thing. He mentioned the sex, and that poom poom do get a little changey. Now, I'm not saying the men, y'all don't have to go take those pills and stuff too. I know that stuff happens as y'all get older. I don't know. I don't know who needs them and who doesn't. But all I'm saying is, in a lot of ways, women do so much heavy. What I'm talking about, Angela, more or less, is like a lot of women majority of women in the hospitality, food and beverage, nightclub industry that are the employees are men or women.
All right, women.
Absolutely. Bottle service around the world is who? Men or women?
Women.
Right.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, coming from living in Las Vegas, watching these women get worn and torn down. So by the time they ready to settle down, if they didn't get married when they was young, had baggage on the kids, we're talking about value. So even if you got your ex-husband's 3 kids, you still got 3 kids that you're the primary mother. And then you got the dad that is a single man all outside. Yeah, you got the kids, but he's posing as the single man outside. So, and this, all I'm saying is, I just see the men having more value. That's all, as they
Right.
get
So
older.
yeah, so I've always said this as well, is that there's a reality that you may see, and there's a reality of Earth, the world, the
Yeah.
city, and then there may be a reality of the man upstairs if you are religious, right? So you have all these different realities, and I think that a person that thinks more logical can understand how all these things work. So when you think about value, to me, I possess value. I understand when I go out into the real world, my value may not be looked at as valuable to some. It depends on the person, and you won't know until you talk to the individual. But then there's also a value of the man upstairs, because I do believe in a higher being. So I know that there's a reality that he wants for us to be able to exist in. So a logical person able to factor these things in to be able to determine like what's best fit for them. But some people can't operate on different frequencies. They just have the reality of self. And so when they hop into these marriage relationships, and that's why we call them delusional. And I think both men and women are delusional in a lot of cases, because I've heard some men who are delusional just as much as I heard women are delusional. And that's how I want to say it may be common sense, but I don't think it's common sense. I just think that it's not meant for everybody to be able to look at the world in this way. And so that's why I'm satisfied with how I was designed, because I'm able to operate on a lot of different frequencies. I'm able to take myself out of situations and look at it from different lenses to determine if how my lens is adjusting to what the situation that I'm in. And it's a possibility that I could be wrong and I realize that I'm wrong. It's a possibility that I may not even notice that this is happening, but if I'm hearing it from a lot of people, then it may be happening and I just don't realize it. I mean, it's not a guarantee if I'm gonna even realize it. But who's operating on these frequencies if they can't? And a lot of folks are not. So that's why I think a lot of people bump heads in a lot of situations, because some people brains are just fried, or they just not gonna come. They're not gonna be able to figure it out.
JR, isn't it true that most people don't know their own number?
Number, you mean as far as looks, value, what?
Right, on the scale.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people, but that number is still subjective, but there's a reality. The earth and the world has this number. Like I can look at a man or female and be able to say that the world views them like this, and I can accept that, right? I understand that I'm a handsome man, but I may not be handsome to everyone, but I'm okay with that because I can't change me. It is what it is, right? But that's not going to change how I view myself. I'm still going to walk around. I'm a handsome guy, and it is what it is. But I understand how the world looks at things, and I may not have I may have one thing or 5 or 6 things, but it's still going to be situational. So you have to be able to figure it all out and not take it personal, because we all take things personal and then we respond and we look crazy because we respond that way. But the world has a frequency, and you have to be able to understand. You can't change the value of how the world views people. There's a look for a woman, there's a look for a man. There's attributes for a man, attributes for a woman. You know, there may be a career wise. All these things it's so much data that you have to be able to place, and people just can't figure it out. But it's not meant for everybody to figure it out. So the people that are, guess what? Those are the people that you see are the coaches and the teachers and the role models, and you know the hierarchy. They're respected by a lot of men because they're able to internalize all of this data and be able to put it where it needs to be. That's how you have people be able to play with people's minds, because they have an understanding that's higher than a lot of people. But again, it's not meant for everybody. If we was all the same, this world would be boring. So if you ain't got it, I suggest you attach yourself with somebody that do may have it, because that's probably the only way to be able to survive on Earth. Otherwise, you're just gonna be out here delusional.
Facts.
Was you about to say something straight like that?
Nah, I agree with everything JR was saying. And I think what JR was saying is the difference between how women look at their value and how men look at their value. If you ask most women, they'll call themselves all a 10, which is stupid. It just doesn't make any sense. Because then when they get mad at each other, they'll call each other ugly bees. So
you got to understand that, though, that they are 10 to some folks, and there may be an environment.
No, I understand that, but then
situational, because there are some women, if they in this setting, they've been told that this is their value, and because they haven't had to be able to compare. So you coming to tell them something else different, it's like, what you talking about, bro?
I know, I get it. But when I'm saying it, and I'm agreeing with you, Jared, I'm saying there's standards to yourself, and then there's standards to your inner crowd, because maybe you might be the 10 in your 4 homegirls group or whatever. But what I'm saying is, for if you ask any woman, most of them will say out there is a 10, and then you would have to laugh. It's like, if I was to come up and say I'm Denzel or whatever women having high regard or whatever, they'd be like, bro, you ain't no freaking Denzel, bro. Like, stop playing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like women say these things out of like trying to make themselves feel better. Because as a man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me personally, I've never compared myself to Denzel.
Oh, really?
Me personally, because if women are saying Denzel is the standard of handsomeness, but not every woman I've met is saying you handsome as Denzel, then it's stupid for me to go out there and say, yo, I'm a 10. It's like every woman thinks they're a 10. It's crazy, bro.
See, the thing is like that. What JR is communicating is that the reality.
I agree with JR. I agree with him. I'm saying I agree with him. I'm saying I agree with JR. I agree 100%. JR was speaking facts. Yeah.
Well, I blame the dream, because he said if she cooks you.
It's on both sides, though, right? So it's but I do believe that. I do believe
No. I don't think it's on both. Sorry, brother, to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off. It's not on both sides.
Okay.
Some men are delusional, but not as much as women. Most men know if they're ugly, they're ugly. That's why they go and get rich.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I'm with you on, right? See, I had this conversation when we did King Talk a while back. I said the reason why women believe that their score is what it is because of the dude they let smash, right? So
yeah, but sex is not the way you judge your value. It's crazy.
First of all, this is why it was important for us to talk about sexual marketplace, right? And looks do matter. Amira said that a few moments ago. Women even say that looks matter. Men know that looks matter. That's the first superficial thing that we align ourselves to if we are when we first meet somebody, to say that we're going to go further than where we are currently, right? So what I'm saying is that there have been dudes that and that are, we would say 8, 9s, and 10s that have smashed 4, 5s, and 6s, right? And so because of what these top tier guys have done in having sex with these women, as well as the guys that wanted to smash, I said, hey, beautiful, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? So she has assumed that her market value sexually is higher than it is based upon the guys that have approached her and that she has let smash, right? So what JR is saying is correct. I'm just putting together some the things that he's saying is that their reality is that they believe that they are at 8, 9, and 10 based upon the guys that they allowed to enter into their sexual market value, right? So, but guys, we know based as far as somewhat of our value based upon the women that say yes to us, right? As it relates to what they look like and how many other guys we think will want to also holler at them, right? So that's the disposition of why there is a difference of how women look at their sexual market value and how men look at their sexual market value.
But to Amir's point, sorry to cut you off. Amir made a point. That's why marriage is valuable, because I tell women all the time, I don't care who wants to sleep with you if he's not willing to marry you. And granted, that's also skewed, right? But if you're looking at it realistically, we all know what that looks like. Because I think women know when they're sleeping with an ugly man. I know women know when they're sleeping with a rich man, and I know women know when they hit the jackpot. Women know that. So they fumble it because of their emotions, and also men do it. I mean, as a man, if I slept with a woman outside of my, like, if I slept with a woman and I feel like she was super beautiful outside of my scope, I'll go brag to my brethren, like, bro, I got like a Rihanna type woman and I slept with her. They were like, no, there's no way you did that. I said, bro, I got her. You know, and they'll all dap me up saying, good job, brother. I don't even know how you pulled that off. See? It's no different than a woman finding a rich dude. When a woman finds a guy with money and he's not requiring sex, that's a jackpot for a woman. I don't have to give him no vagina. He's spending all his money. Jackpot. See? She go and brag to all her friends. So we all know the score, right? So when women say stuff like, oh, I'm a 10 or I'm looking for love, whatever. You got to ignore what a woman says. You got to look at what she's doing. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with JR, and I agree with you, brother. I'm not saying I disagree with you in terms of your what you were saying. I'm just saying, to really bring it home, everybody knows who's attractive, who's not, who brings value, who does not. If a man has to pay to get the pom pom or to get a woman's attention, women know what that is. Men know if they have to pay to get a woman's attention. We all know the score. So we're all just being fake when we're trying to pretend like we don't know.
Got you. I'm gonna go to Luis to finish this off on this one. Everybody else, check the back chat when y'all get a chance. The private chat. Go ahead, Luis.
The world is unfair, man. That's all I'm gonna say. The world is unfair. There's some people who are much more attractive. There's some people who are taller. There's some people who are stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is unfair, but you have to align yourself to, counterbalance those things in which you lack. As far as value is concerned, like, it's not possible for a man to operate in a world and not create or have any value. That's extremely difficult. You gotta do something, build something, be part of something, and create your value over time, and learn. But as far as the dating market is concerned, it's so different now for younger people compared to like when we were growing up, because today it's more transactional. So you're gonna have a lot of more transactional like conversations in terms of superficial and what they look like and height and money and all that, which to some degree it matters to certain individuals. But I mean, at some point, people are gonna have to come to the realization that those are just empty vessels. So, are you?
I appreciate that. Appreciate these super chats real quick. Mont's $5 says marriage is no different from relationships. You can easily disregard the written contract like most do. To death do us part, and many ignore that. Mont again with the $10 says my point being too honest people are all that matters. An honest person in relationship is who sticks to his word is better than folks who willy-nilly get married and don't honor vows. Mont again, $5 says your value is based on the market. Of course, you value yourself. Of course, some individual can value you, but we have to be honest here. It's market based. Mont again with the $5 says value yourself, but women will show you if you're valuable. Notice I said show you, not tell you. Don't listen to what they say. It's what they do. Mine again with the $5 says words are important, Angela. You said value myself. We aren't talking about how you value yourself. Your self-esteem is irrelevant here. And lastly, mine again with the $2 says I'm checking out. Have a good night, everyone. Want to thank you there. Appreciate you, sir. Let's go ahead and get into this last part, man, and we go ahead and react to it. Here we go.
First of all, like that's just what it is. Now, what you do with that shot, that's that person, that female's perspective. But I just think that when it comes to that issue in general, it's more really about just again where those two people are in life. And if your standard is whatever that standard is, and you can't find a guy that's going to meet that standard, and you feel like anything under that standard is basically you compromising or settling, then you have to be equipped mentally to be rolling solo. That's just the way this works. Because you already said it. You're like, I'm not going to go down. It's only up. And if up is the only option, then you have to, you have to deal with what you're saying, that you're diminishing that pool, right? And when you diminish that pool, you can't complain about what's left. And then to wrap this up, what's left, everybody's going after that. Right? The visual basic stuff that we're talking about, keep it simple. We can go, he has to have a great job, height, nice car, all that bullshit fluff. At the end of the day, every woman sees that. So now you got that guy that you got to deal with that has his pick of the litter. So what you going to do with that guy? Is that the guy you want that can have 5 women? So, I mean, it's a mixed bag there. It's not as simple as the way that's kind of outlined to be. But, again, to me, on the dating issue, on that issue particularly, it's to each his own. But, I mean, the opening up, you're absolutely right. There are many guys that's taking a shot at the 10. What they have to lose? They have nothing to lose.
Which is why women have chosen, and I find that a lot of women are choosing to stay single.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like, it's peaceful.
It's peaceful.
Yeah. I mean, nobody ain't got time. And you just have 5 boyfriends.
A whole roster.
It's for
the starting lineup.
As soon as one say no, you call the next one.
That's what's changed, though.
It's all
you feel like that's changed?
Because
You've seen that?
For me, I'm just entering the date scene, and I can really only date one person at a time. I can.
Really?
I mean, I know that a lot of people saying date them all, but I have to focus, and I need to know. I do have to focus. You know what I mean? And I do not feel like I am giving you a fair shot if I'm checking for Joe and checking for John, whomever.
Well, let me know how that work out for
honestly.
No, but I agree with Tom.
But I do
of course you do, Marcel.
Of course I did. Damn, did you catch that? What's all that heat coming from that?
Why do you agree with Tanya?
Because she's right. You can't really sit there and say you're really trying to meet somebody if you're not giving them 100%. Like if I'm sitting there and I got 3 other women and I'm taking everybody out.
Y'all do.
No, but that's now she's on something totally different. I'm just addressing what Tanya's saying, which is agreed. If you really meet somebody and you think that they're worth your time, if you're not giving them 100%, then you're not going to get 100% back. Right. And like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you can't be giving somebody 50%. because you have your other 50%
I
spread between
disagree.
3 people.
But
I disagree.
It doesn't work
no,
that way.
before you say that, I think the clear point is if she's talking about I've met a person, I like them, I'm going to date them. Yes, it should be one. But the crew, the roster, if you meet 5 dudes at park, you haven't picked one yet. Date all 5.
I just can't do it. I just
disagree. I disagree because even in marriage, you're not giving 100% in your marriage. Like I've been married for 15 years, been with him most of my life. You're not giving 100% in your marriage. You're giving. Sometimes you have 50, sometimes you got 80, sometimes you got 10, and hopefully he gives you that what you're lacking. However, in the dating pool, I just feel like for me, I've been engaged to 3 times, and every person that I would say proposed to me, I wasn't giving 100%. I was dating other people.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like I was being my full genuine self in that moment with them. You know what I mean? But I was not giving 100% of me. You know what I mean? I was giving the happiest part of me, the happiest space that I was in when I was with that person. I was not.
I don't know if that's a
And
good
so
point.
That is a good point because she's saying that people look at giving 100% as the good stuff.
Yes.
But the 100% is all the stuff. And all y'all really want is the good part.
The good.
That's actually not true.
Oh, well. I'm gonna go to you, Dora G. I know you haven't spoken in a while, man. What you think about all this roster? I know DJ says she don't believe in dating. She says she's been proposed to like 2 or 3 times. And all those times she was entertaining multiple people. Maybe that's the reason why. It's just a lot going on. What you think, Dora G?
It just sounds so complicated. Like they just making it harder than it should be. And it's like them speaking like that makes people just kind of think like I don't even want to bother getting married because it just seems like it's a lot, and I think when you get older, right, you can learn from the experiences you had when you were younger. So basically the one lady was pretty much, recognizing her mistakes and taking accountability. So I would expect that when you get older, you're going to have all those mistakes and you're going to want to learn from it and be better for it. But, they made it complicated to me. So.
All right, go ahead, Aisha.
So I just think that I agree with the lady. Like I don't think that. I think that dating multiple people at one time is a fairly new generational thing to me. I think that when you are doing that, then you're gonna miss your person because you can't focus on one person. And it's like, really, what's the point? Like, does it really take that many people to go through for you to find your person? Like, I don't understand that. I have a friend that's a serial dater. Like, that's all she does, go on dates. And I don't go on a date with somebody unless there's like a purpose behind it. I don't believe in wasting people's time. I just think the whole situation where she was like, well, men do it. And I'm like, but women aren't men. You know what I mean? I don't think that women are supposed to be out here trying to find a man. I think that the man is supposed to be finding the woman. I think the Bible says that a man that finds it a wife finds it a good thing, not the other way around. So I just think, why are they out here even searching? Just wait for your person or just find that one person. I think the whole conversation, like Dory said, was kind of like all over the place. But I don't agree with the fact that, we should be just out here just dating 50 people. It's just so time consuming. You just can't get to know somebody for real. Like you can't. And it all boils down to women trying to do what men do. It's weird.
Got a fan, DJ. Keep DJ. We need balance on the show. Hopefully she is sincere. Canvas one, you there?
Yeah, man.
All right, what's going on, brother? I know you from the audience. What's your thoughts of the conversation that's going on? What you got to add?
So I like the conversation. I just wanted to add. I think the thing that I wouldn't say frustrated with, but I feel like the frustration of like the quote unquote black man in the situation is always the ability for like our partner to be like incredulous to every situation. Like I think the best question I've ever asked a black woman or all black women collectively that I never get an answer for is like, if we give y'all credit for everything that y'all proclaim to be, how come y'all get to be the least criticized? But yet, like this whole conversation we had also was around value, and we can sit there as
I feel like you're
humans in the
being
world have figured out like, okay, on a
criticized.
regular basis, we've heard women say, okay, it may not even be a girl you like, but you've heard us say, okay, I want to be 6 feet, this number, that, da da da. But a guy on a regular sense, we just be, let's say, talking to a girl off hope. Like, okay, I hope she's nice. Like, that's how sad the limit of what our expectation is now. And now we looking at 45-year-old women talking about don't settle. You should already had a whole family. I remember when I was a kid, that was like the fear of my grandparents was the fact that these women were being grandparents at 45. You haven't even received enough life to be a grandparent to receive the wisdom to give a younger woman. But that's really what I had to add to the conversation. Like I was just confused that the fact that it seems to be applicably okay for this generation of women, the era of women, to think that it's okay to be, like she said, I guess projecting or wanting to be a man, but like, and I don't know, impersonating it in the worst way or finding the lowest value of that to say that's what I want to be and then just accept it and then act confused as if, why am I being approached these certain ways when these are the values that I said? I want somebody that has the most money, but I don't want to be controlled. Like everything has a contradiction or an incredulous feeling to it. And it's like you almost talking to a child. And that's like, I feel like the real frustration with black men as a whole is who has the time to sit there and have that conversation with one of y'all person to person and then build with y'all when we have to figure out your warped mentality of what you think your value is.
I
So
think
I'll
Aisha was responding. Go ahead, Aisha.
I want to first say that black women are the most disrespected species on this planet. So the fact that you're saying that like we don't get talked about, we don't get disrespected, we do. And in terms of value, you listed, a woman is supposed to have all these emotional qualities, but yet you're agreeing with DJ and saying that a woman's value diminishes when she gets to a certain age. You can't have it both ways, right?
I didn't.
Me,
I didn't agree that she. I didn't agree to that point. When you just said emotion, that's because you're an emotional being. So I would not value your ability to control that.
no, what you're saying is because the value that me and Angela put on a woman is value that's assessed over time. So when a woman ages, that means she has more wisdom, she has more
Of
love,
course.
she has a purpose, she has more power. Men don't put value in that, right? So that's why
What man doesn't put value in that?
they put value on sex and value on how a woman look over her age. So that's why I'm saying it's conflating the two. You can't say we want a woman that has wisdom, value, power, and purpose, but you're choosing the latter. You're not choosing an older
No,
woman who's
but
established,
no. I feel like now you're conflating it. No, we're choosing what's available.
the
No, we're
woman who
choosing
doesn't
what's
have
available.
qualities. And
We're
then you're
choosing
turning
what's available.
Hold
We're
on,
not choosing what we
you guys
want.
are
We're choosing
talking
what's
over each other.
available.
Hold on. Canvas one and Aisha, you guys are talking over each other. So that's that, Aisha. Did you finish, Aisha?
yeah, he can go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Canvas.
Mute.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're choosing what's available. We're listening to a video of a 45-year-old woman who's clearly not figured it out in 45 years. So she's not willing to accept what's available. She's now complaining about what she's put herself in. And that's what I was speaking on when I said the black man's or our issue as a whole is we're still talking about it's acceptable for our women as a whole to not take accountability. And then we have to take it whatever level of accountability it is. And that's the issue. Everything we have to every second sit y'all down and realize and talk to y'all almost like a child and say, well, you know what? Everything's like a hue. Everything's not black. Everything's not white. Like that's not that's not something you should be telling somebody that's 45.
All right, let's
Respectfully.
let DJ. She want to get in there. Go ahead, DJ.
I just personally think that women don't tell each other the truth either. Like the way that I said that my homeboy needs to have some people his age talking, I think that women lie to each other. Like they place value, they sit in like groups and place value and support each other. And I never been down with any of those type of groups. But in the sense of what Aisha said, agreeing with DJ, I didn't say that, Aisha. I said that there is a great number of women my age, I'm actually 41, that are great women, healthy, all that stuff. But that is a still small percentage. I was speaking for the mass majority of the women. I wasn't speaking for like women that I didn't say all women. That will never come out of my mouth. I made that very clear that there's several women that are doing great. I actually live in Buckhead and I talk about it all the time on my live. Like, there's some beautiful women. I compliment like 65 women a day. I go on a lot of walks around my neighborhood. I DJ right at the Thompson Hotel on the rooftop. It is some beautiful grown women up there. If men are single, I'm tired of seeing the gay boys. Straight men, come to Atlanta. There's some bunch of single women here. So all I'm saying is it's a bunch of older women that do look good, but that's it's still, there's a lot of people in the world. So that's still a small percentage. Women do have less value as they get older. That's just my opinion, but I'm not saying that you don't have value. I said you lose value or you're seen to a man as not as valuable as a younger woman. That's all I'm saying. And then I said, I don't know how old you guys are, but you guys look like you're in your 30s. So I was never saying like, oh, women that are in their 40s and older are terrible. No, but I do think that there are men that do respect and love older women, like that do love the 35 and up women that have a mental good head on their shoulders and stuff like that. And I think it's beyond looks. I don't think men just want looks and sex. I think that men want peace. Like men want a level head, not a delusional bipolar, this mental disorder because you got vaccinated and immunized. I think that there's so much that comes to the mental. And when I say the baggage, it's not even kids, it's just the baggage of your upbringing and who you're around and what you do, what kind of friends you keep. And like I said, women lie to each other, honey. Like, not you, Aisha. I'm not calling you honey. I'm just saying, I'm speaking on how I speak. But women just lie. I watch women lie so much. You know what I tell my friends the raw truth. And whoever said that women, I can't remember who it was. I don't want to come for anybody. I don't. But I do recall somebody saying that women don't know they're ugly. They don't, all women think they're 10s. I don't know no women. I don't know Dory and Aisha. Any of your friends walk around saying I'm a 10?
Absolutely not. Even
We
if
don't
I
talk
know
like
them,
that. Like, where does that come from?
nobody does that.
We
That's
don't
why.
talk like that. That's
Yeah.
not us. That are men singing those songs. That is the dream writing those lyrics.
I got a question.
That's not women walking around saying that. And those are very immature little girls that are, if they're saying that. But that's not what women say. I hear women saying they stuff is fat, wet, this, that nonsense off
So
a rap song. But I
yeah,
don't think
say
women
that.
are around saying I'm a
hold
10,
on,
I'm a
hold on,
10.
Canvas. Hold on, Canvas. So, I don't necessarily see women saying that they are 10. I see it on social media.
Right.
But if you're dating a woman, it may come up. And not necessarily that she's a 10, but she's suggesting her value when it comes to beauty, right? So it does happen. It may not happen amongst the group of women, but I think when men are interacting with women, I think it may come up, and it may not be necessary in a dating environment. It may be just conversation, friendly flirt. It may
Give
just
me an
come
Yeah.
up.
example of a woman.
I'll give you an
I
example,
was gonna use
DJ.
a
Okay.
No,
different.
no, one second, brother.
You
Because I
got it.
don't date women. Help me out.
Let me give DJ an example. Let's say, do you have a male artist that you listen to a lot? Like an
No,
R&B artist. Okay.
I don't listen
All
to
right. So
R&B at all. But go ahead.
okay, that's kind of weird. But anyway,
Is it really?
yeah, it is. Because R&B is very nice. Like, what do you mean you listen to R&B? That's
It'd be
crazy.
weird if I say you don't listen to what I listen to. But I wouldn't call you weird.
Like,
That's rude.
no, it's not. It's just my opinion. It's not rude. It's just an
Well,
opinion.
calling somebody out of their name is rude.
Come on.
Weird is
Let's stay
not out of
focused.
your
Let's
name.
stay focused. Let's stay focused.
Anyway. All right, fine. I'll stay focused. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, a woman, you know, listen to old school reggae or an R&B artist. My point I'm trying to make is when most women are the number one patrons for R&B music. Like if you go to a Chris Brown concert or Usher concert or whatever concert, it could even be a female or whatever. Um, they go out because they're entertained by that male artist. So when I say the statement that women think they're all tens, it's because women feel like because they judge their value based on how many men hit on them all day, right? So if a bunch of guys are hitting on you all day, you'll feel like you're whatever number you feel like you are. I'm not gonna criticize that. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying women judge and treat men based on that inflated reality. Men don't operate in that reality. We have to have game.
Is it
So
fair
it's
to
not
say
based.
men do the same thing?
Sometimes, I'll say sometimes.
I think that's
I'm
just
not
a
gonna.
character thing, right? Anybody pumps a kid's head up, the kid's gonna think they're the best, right?
Not really,
I
because
feel like everything's not a tit for
not
tat.
really, because most guys don't. Most guys don't. I mean, I can ask all the guys on the panel if they've ever purchased a ticket to go see a dude, and if they did, okay, cool. I'm not saying that doesn't
Crazy.
happen. I'm
I did
saying
for like a
I'm
concert
lost
for a
on the
chick.
ticket to go see a dude part. I'm lost.
okay, but I'm saying majority of the people that we see in the audience are what?
What audience?
It doesn't matter what artist. Pick any
What are we
artist. Pick
talking
any
about?
artist.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
I'm trying to make a point. My point is,
What are you
women
talking about?
I don't know.
women will go out to a male artist, right? Women will go out to I'll sum it up, JR, real quick. A women will go out to a male artist,
You can't
right?
expect me to take you seriously.
And women will go out to a male artist, and she'll support that male artist. You understand? And then at the same time, most men will only promote a guy that they look up to or they want to emulate, meaning he has money or status. What we're trying to say is when a woman says that she's a 10, it's because she's evaluating her attractiveness based on how many men want to sleep with her.
Period.
And you can't evaluate your beauty based on the type of men that want to sleep with you. You have to evaluate your value based on the type of men that are willing to marry you. And I'm not talking about proposals either, because a proposal means nothing. This man has to go through with it full force in terms of marrying you and going through the process, even with whatever attitude you come with. So that's the true value of you. Men don't have that type of escape when it comes to our value, because women hold us to the fire. Women don't just judge a man based on how they look; they judge us based on what we're able to provide.
Right on, brother. I feel what you're saying. So I want to talk about this video to get back on topic.
Perfect.
Yes, yes,
I
it
love
is.
that.
Excuse me. The sad thing is that the other day we had elder women who let us down, who did us a disservice, and unfortunately, they do it again today. So this elder woman on the show, a couple of them, talking about rosters and just dating multiple men. So she's promoting hoism. That's exactly what she's promoting. So she gonna be sucking every man that she going out with. Hey, y'all can sit there and say, well, we ain't having sex with all of them. I don't believe it. I believe you're topping them off. I believe you're throwing it back. I believe you might be knocking them off in a car, in the club, in the restaurant. That's what I'm assuming. You say, well, you know what you mean when you assume. I don't give a shit. If you're willing to go out with every man, take his money, accept his money, receive his gifts, I'm sure he's ready to receive some type of kickback. Yes.
Payment.
I don't need no interruptions. I'm good. My credit good. So I'm sure he's looking for some type of return on his investment in your stanky ass. So you fucking every last one of them. So hey, you promoting these younger girls. So that's what I'm saying. These elder women are doing service. So when I hear these young people talking about the elders let us down, I agree. I strongly agree. We have let you down. Because if we're out here promoting this bullshit, we're teaching this bullshit, we're not correcting things that we know is wrong and not speaking on it and not speaking against it, we have let them down.
That's bullshit.
Your brothers let you down. Your fathers let you down. Your uncles, your pastor, the people in your neighborhood, your goddamn greasy ass grandmammy let you down. And that's a shame. And I'm sorry. Because I'm a part of this elder group that let you down. Because when you got women like that promoting this whole life and thinking it's okay, speak on like it's the way to live and the way to be, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'll leave it there.
I was gonna say I can't. Me personally, I can't wrap my mind around sleeping with multiple people. I just can't. I had goals off to do it. You know,
Man, they don't want you to wrap your mind around it. They want you to wrap other things around
it. Yeah. I'm just like, that's good for you. Just expose yourself to any old person you have no idea who the hell they are. Just,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, I don't subscribe to that. I agree with you, Dory. I just really don't subscribe to that narrative of you hopping from person to person. There's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, I went through a divorce, but I'm still a successful woman. But why do you have to still, what's the point, right? You're never going to find a husband. Like, it's just not going to happen that way. You can't focus on that many people. You just can't. So at this point, you're just going through heat, and I'm with Hank. You just out here hoeing.
No, Aisha, real quick. Can I ask you a question? I'm curious about you real quick. Just real quick. I just want to ask you something real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I just ask you something?
Don't take it to a concert.
I answer. I might not. It just depends on how personal it is.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me phrase it in a way where it's respectful, and I just want you to answer it. But
come on,
you said a couple of things that I was like, I agree with her, but she's kind of like on the fence. Are you suggesting that women should start to date later or earlier?
Date? You need to date as early as possible. I married my high school sweetheart. We was together for 7. I think that you should date early. I think that you should date a person early. But I also agree that it does not always happen that way. Like, you can be married and you can be divorced. So if you happen to be back out here in the field, I think that women think like, I don't know what happened, but women think like, I have a degree, I'm successful, and I can just date and I can do whatever I want to do. I can date 4 men, I can date him, and then I can choose what I want. And that's why I said a lot of these women have turned into men. And it's like, generally, you're not supposed to do that.
So do you also agree that a woman could age herself out of dating?
I don't know what that. I've never heard. What do you mean age yourself out? Because I've seen like.
Well, if you agree with dating early, you obviously disagree with dating late.
I did not say that.
I know. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to.
Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with you dating later. I don't think there's anything wrong with dating in your 40s. I just think that dating looks different as you get older.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
I think you answer your own question because that's the alternative answer. Like, that's the answer he asking you for. We never get to. Is like we have, like, you would be the perfect specimen. Like you said, you married your high school sweetheart, but like then you turn around and say, well, I'm not saying that you shouldn't date at 45. That's the problem. We always got to hear this alternative answer. Like, why is it not just like, for instance, when we always say the society and everything else. Nowadays we talking about, oh, she a fairy and everything. They want to be. Why do we always have to accept the fact that our women have to be everything in the world but a respectful woman?
How are you
That's
not
that's the
respecting
standard.
dating at 45? What are you supposed to do after you get a divorce? Just
I
die?
mean, you can, but I'm saying, like, that's not what
No, why are you
I'm
divorced?
saying.
The question is, why are you
You didn't
divorced?
preach
Yeah,
what you said at the beginning. You said, you
right.
started off and said, okay, that's my high school sweetheart, and then when he said, okay, well, that means you're against dating later. You took the fact that you against it as in you can't say, okay, well, yeah, I'm against it. You still went to bat for the fact of, that's what I'm saying. Y'all always still
No,
go to
I
bat
say the
for
two things
whatever's negative
at
instead
the
of
same
just holding
time.
the position of what's positive.
Two things can be true at the same
No,
time.
but that's exactly what I'm saying. Just because two things can be positive can be true at one time, does it have to happen? Just because you can walk and chew gum, does that mean you can't spit out the gum and walk?
But we're having two different He asked me two different
No, I'm
questions.
asking
I
you.
answered them
Just
both.
because you can walk and chew gum, does that mean you can't
How
spit
does
out the gum and
that
start walking as
how does
well?
that one thing have to do with the other one, Candace? I'm not asking a dumb question. I'm not answering a dumb question. Like one
That's
thing
what,
has nothing to do with
but
the other.
that's what we saying. Why do we always have to have a conversation that's broken down into,
Follow a
okay,
question.
how
And
can we
I answered
always have to break it down to how can we make it okay and acceptable to accept what doesn't make sense and what's gonna least make the most positive happen just because there's an anomaly,
turn this
as
in.
opposed to make what will make the most sense happen. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's go get DJ in there. She got an answer.
Canva, what's the anomaly in that?
The anomaly is being 45 and figuring it out. You should have figured it out already.
Who
But
are
there were
you?
two
Can
parties
I?
in that marriage. So if it was a 45
Canva, wait, 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 wait,
man,
wait.
she wasn't married to herself.
Okay.
Like it's
The
not
okay.
45
You
year
asked me what the anomaly is. The anomaly is
old dating.
what the anomaly is actually accepting what your options are now. That's the anomaly.
Oh, what?
That's the anomaly now. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be the anomaly, since that's the way you phrase the question. That's now the anomaly. Do you get it?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're
Hold on, hold on,
45
hold on,
and
hold
you
on. Like that. I think DJ wasn't finished. Go ahead, DJ.
I'm just basically hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Straight like that in Canvas one. So what I'm basically hearing is you guys are because straight like that piggybacked off of something you said, and he was like yeah, like why are you divorced? And so when he said that, it was kind of like Canvas. You were saying to Aisha, like why you can't just say I got married at this age and that's that. Why do you have to bat for the people that got divorced and are out here at 40 whatever trying to figure it out now? Why you can't
Facts.
just stick with what you're saying now? Am I saying that right? Am I
Absolutely.
hearing
That's
right?
it.
Right. So now my question to you is, have you been married?
No, I haven't been married.
You have been married. May I ask how old you are?
I'm 30.
You're 30. Right. So you haven't been married and you're not married yet.
I was in a relationship for 8 years. I chose not to be married.
Okay, but regardless, who are
Now, I just want you to
you?
understand. I've been in a long standing relationship, so you can't play that. I've never been committed or anything else.
I'm not trying to play anything, but who are you to say anything about a divorced human, someone that lived life with somebody and put it in a space of they don't exist to even they shouldn't even be outside trying to date.
The same way you went to bat for the fact that you just going to bat for that. The same way I didn't say, okay, well, it's okay. The same way I was with somebody for 8 years, almost out of high school, and I could have chose to marry them. There was other things that played into that factor. So I would support dating younger. I'm not going to bat for why I'm 45, divorced, and whatever, trying to figure it out. What aren't you understanding? That's
I
not my
didn't say any
position.
you're projecting what you feel about your
No,
own
I'm
self
asking
because
you. You
I
asked
didn't
me to
speak.
answer it. I'm asking you to answer in reverse. I'm not making that position. You're going to bat for that position.
I cannot.
I think that the issue is Straight Like That asked me two different questions, and I answered two different questions, and he only wanted me to answer the one. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, but it was two different answers, and two things can be true at the same time. So what he's saying is because a 17-year marriage is variable. But he's saying, well, for the people that ain't married, the people that did get a divorce, why would they get a divorce? Why are you hyping it up? Nobody's hyping up divorce. I didn't do that. All I simply said was when you are divorced and you have to get back out there into the dating market, it happens. But I think that there's a different way to go about it. You shouldn't be out here sleeping with multiple people. So why I was attacked for that statement, I have no idea. Because people are going to be divorced. People are going to get back out here in the dating market. It happens. I'm just saying, once you reach that point as a woman and you're 45 and you're successful in doing all these things, still date with purpose. Don't be out here dating 4 or 5 different people. And I do think like you should already find your person early in life. But I see there's conflicts with that too. Like I said, I married my high school sweetheart. So it's like it could happen either way. You know what I'm saying?
And I like the video because she was living in her truth in the space. Like I'm down with anybody living their truth. If she feels like now, I didn't hear her say she was going to F this dude and that dude and this dude and that dude. Maybe that is the case. I don't know the woman. But all I'm saying is if one of them said, well, if I can't get what I want, and see, this is the worst. The worst is when you go get these kind of people. The worst is when you go and get, hi, you guys. Hi, gentlemen. Let me ask you, man.
It's about to get hot now.
Let
Hold
me ask you.
Hold on, bro. Come on.
Let me ask you men something, but go ahead, Lapeef.
Nah, Ikene came in hot. Go ahead, Clout, and then we'll get to Ikene.
I wanted to speak on. Yeah, I wanted to speak on what. Y'all hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on what Canvas was talking about because I'm hearing an echo or whatever, but maybe that's so mine. But Canvas was saying something to the regards of, like, basically, I think I understand what he's talking about. Because I think Aisha said a statement. She said 2 things can be true at once, whatever the case is, right? And that's true that 2 things can be true at once, but not when they contradict each other. So that's the case where 2 things cannot be true at once. And a lot of times in our community, we do this thing where we'll have a position we're standing on, but feel the need to support the position that we're not standing on. And then what it does is it completely undermines the argument. Like she'll say, "Yeah, I think you should marry young," but then when he says, "So then you're young," you're essentially saying that you date old. That's the exact inverse of that statement. If you believe in dating young, then you aren't for dating old. But we don't want to say that. Standing on a position means that a person can be held accountable. And I think that's really the problem we have in the community. There's this constant attempt to not take a position so that accountability can always be stated. And it's like, no, if you're going to take a position, stand up. Your position is you believe in dating young, that's your position. You can't say it's cool to date old. No, those things are inconsistent. You gotta pick one. And then once you pick one, we can have a real conversation and we can move forward. But a lot of these conversations are unable to properly move forward because no one wants to be honest or stand on business or stand on any position because they don't want to be forced to be held accountable when that mirror is held up. If you stand in a position and you say, I believe this, then a person can now in the debate say, well, you said you believe this. This is what you said you believe. And now you have to stand back. Nobody wants to do it. They don't like it.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. It's coming in kind of a little sketchy, man. I'm not used to hearing you like that, Clout.
Every other word.
Your word. We couldn't hear really you at all.
I got some of the gist of it.
Let me see.
It's probably because your phone is sitting down on something.
I think you gotta go in and out, or maybe your phone.
Yeah, your voice is in and out. So like you'll be close to it and then far away. Like that's how it is.
Yeah, your phone might be messing up.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Okay.
Kenneth.
Yeah, how you guys doing tonight,
Yeah, I mean,
man?
real quick, so we're not long with it, y'all. Let's, we let's see. Yeah.
Okay. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm
The
doing
thing
good.
is, the
Man.
thing is this, right? The thing is this, right?
Got the YouTube open, I think.
You can't be telling somebody at a man and a woman is not the same thing because I've heard you guys throughout tonight. And I've been listening for the past 3 hours or something. Men and women are not the same. A woman's supposed to marry earlier. That's fine because responsibility is not on her. But for my brother that said he's 30 years old, he has more grace than a woman. Because at 30, that's when most men are supposed to be getting married. Most men are supposed to marry at 30 and above. Under 30, men lack maturity to be able to control or command a family, to be able to lead a family. So I will never advise any man to marry at below 30. So for the guy that has been dating and now getting into the prospect of getting married, that's the right time for him. So you guys shouldn't shame him. That's the right time for him to get married because guess what? He doesn't want to make mistake. That's why he's kind of getting ready to do it now. Most men that are married earlier on, like Cloud, they messed up their marriage. You see what I'm saying? It might not be Cloud's fault from the beginning, but due to immaturity, he contributed or may have led to what destroyed his marriage. That's just life. But like I said, for a woman, 22, 23 is the best time for you to get married. But any woman that is out there at the age of 40 promoting dating, must be out of her damn mind. Because you should be at home with your family, raising your kids, taking care of your husband, making sure that he has the right medication. Men age with grace, but guess what? Our bones still crack.
Can y'all hear me decent?
I think you sound better now.
I sound better now? All right, because I did want to add to that dating conversation, and my take might be a little controversial, but I agree with what the lady was saying for younger women, actually. I actually think that younger women should date multiple people because I don't think dating means that just sleeping with the person or having a relationship with them, right? Like, I think that's a relationship or that's like sleeping with each other. But I feel like the way dating was supposed to be is you're supposed to be going out, meeting multiple people, going to different outings, getting to know different people, getting to know what you like about other people. And then for women, like if it was my daughter, I would want her then to choose from the person who's showing the most effort to be with her. So I feel like the best way for her to see that would be like how women dated in the old days. They had suitors. So if it was my daughter, how I would advise her to date is I would want her to date as many guys as possible. I would just tell her to refrain from sleeping with those guys. But as far as dating, yeah, you should go out with all these different guys, see what they're offering, see what they have to say, see how consistent they are with their word, get to know who's who. And then when you find one that you feel like is the top one and that you feel like is the best pick, that's the person, and that person is trying to propose to you, fantastic. That should be the person that you settle down with. I think that's how traditional dating was supposed to work. I just think that it gets muddied because people aren't waiting for marriage to have sex now. If people were still waiting for marriage to have sex, then dating multiple people would not be a problem at all. It would actually be a great dating strategy for men and women. Because even as a guy, like, you don't want to just date one girl and then, you think you're in love and then it might not be the woman for you. Better you get to know multiple women, find the one that's the right one over time. And then you can say, okay, I'm sure that this is the woman I want to commit the rest of my life to. But we're not living in that world where people are taking the time because people are just fucking like rabbits at the end of the day. That's really why that strategy wouldn't work. So if she's telling women to just go out there and fuck, then I wouldn't say that's a great strategy for them to get what they want if it's marriage. But if she's telling them to date multiple men and not sleep with them, hell yeah, I think that's a great strategy for a woman to employ if she's looking to be married.
Yeah, I got to follow up after
Hold on a minute, Cloud. What are you talking about, brother?
Hey, I was about to say, like, the way you don't say you agree with me and follow up with that, because I was
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead, brother.
that was one of my integral issues that I was gonna get into if I'm allowed back on, is that's the issue. I just don't want a daughter, but when I have a dude give me his advice that he gonna tell a female, it's gonna be the same advice you tell a guy. That's the problem. That's literally the
That's a
issue.
big problem.
And then you say back in the day. No, back in the day, or in other countries, it's a money thing, or they're courted in a different way, and the father decides. So that's how that was decided. But to tell a female, and then you saying that you're gonna trust your daughter to make that decision,
They're
and
not
then we
courted,
going.
Well,
they're
well,
arranged.
I don't
well.
understand. Okay, well, oh, that's even better.
Yeah, you
Arranged.
meant
So
arranged. Yeah.
that was the word I was looking for. So
Yeah,
arranged is
yeah. They're
still better
arranged because
than it's
courting is
still
not
better
even
than.
biblical and neither is dating. So he said like traditional dating. I'm like, please tell me the
I'm talking about the
origination.
origins of dating. I'm not talking about the origins
Okay, but
of
that's what I'm saying. The
like.
origins of
I'm
dating
t-
Yeah, but
is the origins of hoeing. So we still
yeah, it's the
giving out
origins of
the
hoeing,
advice of
courting, all
what
that,
makes
because
sense.
none of that is
It
well,
always
origin.
makes sense to
well.
tell a guy. It always makes sense to tell
I
a man to do that because you're trying to figure out what makes sense for you
I
because
hear your point.
you're building that value. She's born with that value. She's supposed to just
I
cherish
hear
and
your
not
point.
give it away. So why aren't we
I
just
hear your
preaching
point.
don't give it away, not figure out
I hear
how
your
not to
point,
give
but
it away?
that's literally.
Just don't give it away.
I hear your point, but if you were listening to what I said in its entirety, I expressly said that I don't think she should be sleeping around. So again, my view of dating may be different than your view of dating. Your view of dating, or the frame of dating that you're thinking of may include sex. The frame of dating that I'm speaking from is one that doesn't include sex.
All
So
right.
I'm
Well, I'll
saying,
ask you, what's your version? What's your
so I'm
version of
saying,
insinuation? What does insinuation mean?
so I'm saying that if you're dating someone and not having sex, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating multiple people when you're not sleeping with them. That's all I'm saying. For someone
I'm
who's
saying it's
Let
2025.
me let me put
That
it this way,
how real?
right?
I'm asking
Let
you to
me
be
put it this way.
realistic. Is
What
that
is wrong
realistic in
with sex?
2025?
Canvas,
Like,
canvas,
I don't think
canvas.
anything's.
Let me
But
put it this way,
I'm being
guys.
asked
Let
a
me
lot of questions. I don't know which one
yeah
to go
yeah.
first.
Let me put it this way, guys. If you ever advise anybody to date and men know about it, men don't kind of discern it the way you're gonna discern it. Men equate sex to dating, equate dating to sex
Yeah.
because they're not in a private house with you to know if you're sexing or not. You see what I'm saying? So, as a father, we cannot tell our daughters to be dating. It's just not the right advice. We can tell her to bring who she's dating to the house.
That's dating.
Let's who she is dating to the house. Because the reason why it's two different things is this: you can't guide a woman not to have sex by telling her you can date multiple people or you can date people but don't have sex. You cannot do that. You know
Hold
why? Because she might have that sex without even telling you because she don't want to disappoint daddy, right?
Hold on. Too many assumptions are being made. I didn't say
Because
that
it's a
she need to
reality.
be running the streets. I'm not saying that if it's my child, there would be no supervision, right? Uh, the specifics and the nuances of how you supervise your child is how you supervise your child. All I'm saying is, if my daughter wanted to get to know boys, right, and was not having sex with them, right, she wants to get to know different boys. I would suggest her at a young age not to commit to a boy at any age. I would say get to know those boys, have friendships with those boys, but don't sleep with those boys. Find one of those boys that wants to make you his wife.
But you
And
can do
that
that, brother.
hold on,
You
hold on.
can
Hold on,
do
hold
that.
on, hold on, hold on.
Hold on. Y'all
Before
interrupted
you
me, but
get to
hold on. This is
explaining
how
more,
y'all
hold on, hold on. Before you get to
hold on. This
explaining
is
more,
why y'all confuse me, right? Because y'all always talk this pro-marriage talk. And I'm literally just saying, I'm not saying, hey, go out there and sleep with men. I'm saying get to know, go meet the person you're going to marry, right? And then when you find someone who's showing you that they're serious, get married to that person. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's so controversial about what I'm saying right now.
No, it is controversial.
I'm saying women should be free to get to know the person that will eventually be their husband. I don't
Don't
think
you
they
want?
should settle.
Don't
I
you
don't think
want the
they should settle
woman?
with the
Don't you
first
want?
person that shows any interest at all. I think
Hold
that's
on
a
a
bad
minute,
choice for
Clark.
anybody.
Don't you want
Nori,
your
ain't that what I
daughter?
said
Don't you
earlier?
want your daughter to bring the whichever man she's dating to your house and
Yes,
introduce the man to your house?
absolutely. Absolutely, that
Yes,
would
that's
be
what you
better.
should say.
I
And
don't
then
agree
you
with
get to
that.
choose for her if that man is good to be married. Because guess what? You are a man. you're gonna be the one to discern that, to know if that guy is good for
Sure,
marriage or not. You don't want your
sure.
daughter
I'm not
bringing a
necessarily.
gangster home and
I'm
then
not
you telling your daughter, you know what?
necessarily.
If that's who you love, go ahead and marry a gangster that shoot up the club.
I hear
Come on,
you,
bro.
but
So it's
hold
about
on,
clout. That's
hold
what I
on.
was saying. That's why I asked you. I said, "What does the word insinuation mean to you?" Because that's what I'm saying. You insinuating a lot of things and putting a lot of insinuations into her mind to say, "Oh, date." So if she dates somebody that's got enough money to spoil her versus this, you could just say what you was claiming at the end, which is okay, make friends and then bring them to the house, or what friends are you interested in, or who are you interested in, bring them over, and then so I can tell you who is best for you. You can say that's
So
the area that I'm going into. No, you said,
what's
well,
happening
I'm
right
gonna tell
now
her
is
this
you guys
and everything
are
else.
projecting. What's happening right now is you guys are projecting your own opinions onto what I said. I didn't say that she should be out running the streets and
No,
that
you
that I,
said dating
hold on,
by
stop.
default. By
Let me
default,
respond to
if
you.
you
Hold on,
date
y'all.
if
One
you
mic,
date
y'all.
the
One
house
mic.
by
One
the
mic.
Let me
house,
One mic.
respond to you. I never
we
made any
going out.
claims. I never made any claims that she shouldn't bring the guy home to meet her father. I didn't make any claims that you shouldn't get to know the guy and help in the selection process. These are assertions that you guys are making. All I
But you
said
said
was,
dating, and
all
you
I
assuming
said
that
was that if
if you're dating,
hold
you're
on,
going
hold
outside,
on,
right?
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on,
yeah. Canvas, hold on.
Hey,
Let them
y'all
finish.
talking. Hey, y'all
hold on.
talking over
We
each
live
other.
in America. We live in
Hold on,
America
y'all.
in 2025. I don't know what world y'all live in, but your kids are gonna go outside. So if you guys are trying to pretend we live in somewhere where these kids or where your daughters are not gonna be outside, I feel bad for y'all because y'all daughters are gonna have it the worst. The kids are gonna go outside. All I'm saying is because I know they're going to go outside, I would tell my daughter, hey, there's nothing wrong with you liking a boy. There's nothing wrong with you getting to know that boy. There's nothing wrong with y'all going bowling. There's nothing wrong with y'all going to get food. I would tell her, lock it down for the one that wants to marry you. But other than that, feel free to have experiences, normal experiences, dating experiences. I'm not talking about sex. That's where y'all keep going. It is normal for your daughter to go to movies with friends. It's normal for your daughter to potentially have dinner with a guy. I don't think that's crazy. Have lunch with a guy, go bowling. I don't think those things are crazy. You guys are acting like I'm saying your daughter should be out at the club busting it open for 10 guys at a time. All I'm saying is that she should be able to meet guys, she should be able to meet the opposite sex and have outings with them. Outings, doing things together to get to know one another. And when she finds the person who she feels like she likes and is also a good fit, and that person is also marriage minded, I think that then she should pick, along with her family and her support system, the best choice out of those people who are marriage minded and want to take her seriously. I'm not advocating for a woman to be running the streets and just picking and choosing on her own. Obviously, the family, the father should be a part of the process.
It's good that you clarified this
Yeah,
because I
we go.
gotta
That's what I
tell
was
you,
gonna say. That was
you
way
didn't
more
you didn't
concise.
add those when you were
That's
talking
all I'm
at
saying. That was
all.
way more
No,
concise.
y'all talking
Back
over
in
each
the day,
other.
he wasn't even going that far with it. Like he was
Exactly. I
saying,
shouldn't have to. Y'all are projecting. I shouldn't have to explain that nuance. Like, I'm not trying to give
No,
y'all
no,
a whole
no.
play. I was saying basically,
Nah,
I don't see nothing wrong with
this is what I'm saying.
women
It
dating.
wasn't a projection. I'm
Dory,
saying this
we
how you
know
did it.
We
You
know
Y'all
Clark
started off
very
know.
by
well. We
saying
know where he
you
was
simply
headed
what
to.
you
We
Hold
started
don't
on.
off.
try
Hold
to
You
on.
be
said
a
I'm gonna give
hater.
the woman the
Hold
woman's
We
daughter
on.
know
advice.
him. We
Hold
know
You
where
said I'm
this
gonna
on.
is
give the
going.
father
Hey.
the son advice. That's
Hold
what you
on, y'all.
said.
Hey, hold
Point
on.
blank.
Hold on. Just so y'all know, I got like 3 more minutes. We closing out.
Man.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that when you started out, that's how you came out the gate. You was like, "This is my daughter advice. This is my son advice," and it was the same advice. So we was like, what are we doing here?"
There are places where the advice would cross over, meaning I would want both of them to weigh options. Now, am I telling them both to weigh options in the same exact way? Obviously not. Men and women are different. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't tell my son to get married to the first girl he thinks is cute, and I wouldn't tell my daughter to get married to the first guy she think is cute. I would say, hey, you're gonna meet a lot of girls that you might like. You're gonna meet a lot of guys you might like. Don't rush into anything. Take your time, get to know them, see how serious they are about you. When you
Now
find
you're
something,
confusing us again, Cloud.
I don't know how that's confusing. I really don't. I
back
don't
in
know
the
what's
day
confusing about that. I'm speaking normal English. I don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't know what y'all be hearing when I'm talking these
For
words to you.
for a man, that's so. You see, the context of your words matter. For a man, yes, get to know other women, but for a woman, get to know other men. You confusing us, brother.
There we
A
go.
Hold on,
woman is not supposed to get to know
How
multiple
is your
men.
daughter? how is your daughter? Hold on. In 2025, where the daughters go out to school with boys, like there's boys in the schools they go to. You're expecting that your daughter's not gonna. You want your daughter to find a husband, but not get to know the man that's going to be her husband that she's supposed to build a life with. She shouldn't get to know him at all. That's crazy.
Let me answer that canvas. He asked me a question. Let me answer.
Quick.
No, let me answer because he asked. No,
She
go.
has friends. She has a phone. She has a father. Those are ways she could figure that out.
So you don't think that
those are the ways she's gonna figure it out anyway.
So you don't think that
and that didn't involve dating
real
at all.
world? Hold on. So you don't think that if this is your daughter, I'm saying you don't think that your daughter should have real world interactions with the man?
She can. Those are real world
let me finish the questions, bro. Let me finish the question, and I'll listen to your answer with no interruption. I'm saying your daughter, right? You don't think that she should have real world interactions with the man she potentially is going to spend the rest of her life and build a family with? You don't think she should have real world interactions with him in public?
It's not in public.
Prior to the marriage? You don't think that's realistic? I'm
Nah,
not saying it has to be
hold on. That's realistic, but that's a projection. I didn't nothing that I said meant she didn't go on dates. Didn't mean she didn't go on field trips. Didn't mean she didn't go to what it was, dances or other things. That just means it's coordinated. I got the parents' numbers. They may have my number, etc. There's other ways that we can mitigate that, and that's why I said she has friends. That means she's observing these things as it happens. And I can say, you know what? When I want you to, as a father, when I want you to
so your concern is
dating
supervision
will be in college, because that's when everybody is goal-minded. So I want you to do that in college because that's what I want to project. But that's me personally.
All right, hold on. So let me just see if I understand your argument correct. You're basically saying that your concern is the supervision. You basically feel that it should be supervised.
Of course, because that's a daughter.
All right, I agree with you on that 100%. Now, where I disagree though, where I have to disagree with you is that encourage her to do it in college, bro. We all know what happens in college.
You said goal.
That is the last. Hold on, I'm gonna be real with you. No, I hear you. And I agree that there are a lot.
Was a project. Hold on. Everything you said with dating is also a projection of faith. So I have to have faith that she's gonna wait till college to even not be doing anything sexual. The same way you in dating is gonna assume she's not doing sexual because you said that.
See, now this is where I'm gonna disagree, and I'll just tell you the slight difference in the way I see it. The way I see it is, before she goes to college, I would want her to kind of have some of those experiences. That way, when she gets to college, it's not like, yo, I didn't get to have none of these experiences. I'm about to wild out. I would rather be like, yo, bring the boy to the house. Okay, we'll be supervised and go to the movies. We'll be like you said. I agree with the supervision. You can do things supervised, and some things I'll give you trust to do freely, just so that by the time college comes, it's not like a mind shock, because everybody knows these young girls go crazy. The time they do it the most is in college. Most women,
now you made a lot of you made a lot of sense right now, Cloud. You know why? Because I gotta say this. I dated 2 girls in college. They were both virgins, and they graduated virgins in college. You see what I'm saying? It's good to prepare them before they get to college. You see what it's good to prepare them. It's good to have those discussions, but you gotta start that discussion very early in life. Very, very early in life, you're gonna have that discussion. Don't allow her to go and experience it and then have that discussion. It's gonna be too late.
I agree.
You gotta start having that discussion as early as 5. I'm telling you for real, because these kids, they retain, and then they process, especially the girls, they retain and process. And then when it comes to college, I don't advise parents to get their girls to go to college outside the city where they reside. It's good for these girls to go to college in the same city where you stay, because it protects them. Maybe sophomore, junior, and senior, they can go out of the house, but you see that sophomore, freshman and sophomore, they should stay at home and go to local college. It helps a lot. And the 2 girls that I know, they both went through the same. Because freshman man is called careless age. Freshman age is called careless age.
All right, we're coming to that time, y'all. Let me go get to these super chats so we get up out of here. Top of the hour. B2 BTK, $2. She values him. He values her. They're 10 to each. DJ, $10 also on the panel. Good show and panel. Appreciate you, ma'am. Big Guy 11, $10 says, I don't know what Hink talking about. I might be done a couple of things, but I ain't never knock one off in a restaurant. That's too freaky for me. Nikane, which is on the panel as well. $2. Divorce women confuse single people for marriage. I think everybody has contributed to the platform. Appreciate you, Clout, man. Brilliant perspective. Thank you, sir, for your contribution tonight. Nikane, thank you for coming up, as well as Dory G. Blessings to you, ma'am. Your femininity is top notch. So thank you for coming and just doing you. Canvas Wand, DM me, man. I like your perspective, man. Would you be willing to come on cam? Come back?
No, most definitely.
All right, man. Just shoot me a DM, man. My IG is on there. I'll see if we can match it up or email me at jr.lapeef.com. Whichever one, just reach out to me, man. And I'll see if I can make sure I get you on to the next one.
I bet. Yeah, I'm probably email me.
All right. Just email me, jr.lapeef.com. I want to thank everybody that has joined the chat, as well as not the chat, but just watching. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Catch us on the next one. We are live tomorrow, the Thursday show, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. 6:20 p.m. Pacific time.